I believe that was Chris Stanley singing on that. This is the Bennington Show.
He's a beautiful voice.
He does have quite the voice. This is the Bennington Show on I'm going to guess Thursday, because no one seems to be happy around here. And it's only Fridays. People act like, I don't know why they act like doing radio is so hard that they're exhausted by the end of the week, but they do.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Glad to get out of this fuck place and go to my house and talk.
It's about black out for 4 hours.
That's just you.
Am I right to say that's Chrissy Brinkley having her picture taken over here behind us, Chris, where the lights are going off?
Yeah, they're just going off like a goddamn gunshots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how it's going off. I'm just saying if it was Chrissy Brinkley. And I believe a Tribe Called Quest cover band is hanging around at the same time. I don't know if they do like covers for hip hop. Do they? Is that
I don't think that they do, but they should.
No, they just take the beats from other songs and then freestyle over them. That's as close as a cover as you're going to get in hip hop.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
It seems like it would be easy enough to do.
Yeah. Well, we saw a movie yesterday, and when I say we, I mean me and my best friend Joe.
Thanks.
Joe and I go to movies together.
Yeah.
What was the name of the movie we saw?
The Night Before.
The Night Before. It's a big comedy. Seth Rogen and friends, and they end up singing some Run DMC in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you guys sing along together? Oh, I would have thought that you.
One of us was. First of all, Joe had the time of his life at a movie.
You had fun?
Yeah, I had fun.
He got back to the office and just kept talking about how much he loved this
You know what I
film.
felt like? A weekend dad. I felt like a weekend dad with him because after that he just started talking about his friends in Brooklyn. I'm like, yeah.
I was like, they were in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They were there.
And he told me everyone in Brooklyn is going to see this movie. It's going to be a huge hit.
2.5 million people.
I
All
live
of
in
them
Brooklyn.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're going to see it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chris lives in what's called Little Brooklyn. That's Astoria.
No, it's its own thing. It's just Astoria, Queens. The border of Astoria, Long Island City, technically.
I'm looking up here. I'm trying to get my radio show started, but people just want to talk scoping. So let's get some of this out of the way. Ryan in Boston.
Yeah, I want to know why Stanley doesn't inhale cigarettes. What other drugs is he taking?
I inhale cigarettes. Watch the
No,
scopes.
you don't.
Yes,
you
I
don't.
do.
You
A lot of
bomb in
people
your
bring
mouth
it up.
and you spit them out like you're dipping a cigarette. You're a fucking weirdo.
You're very puffy. You're like,
Yeah, that's not smoking cigarettes. What's the fucking point?
You're crazy.
But
I'm
what-
afraid
you
he's
know-
inhaling.
can I tell you something though? People get angrier if people don't inhale deep with their cigarettes.
Dude, the kid blows through a pack of Reds in 5 minutes, but he's not even inhaling it. What's the fucking point?
I am inhaling.
Can I tell you something though? He's smoking his own fucking business. Why do you feel like we got to
Because
eighth
if
grade
you got a
this?
show called Smoking with Chris, you got to fucking smoke like a man, not like a fucking weirdo.
You think
He's-
maybe you should change it to puffing with Chris?
No, it's
How
smoking
about
with
this?
Chris.
I got
is
it
what
for
he
you.
should call it.
Puffing with Daddy.
That's
call it
good.
that.
I got to book Puff Daddy on this show.
Hey, Daddy here.
Daddy take care of it. Daddy take care of it. Hey, don't you worry. Daddy here to take care of you. And in the meantime, if I found out that guy was fucking offended, I'd climb a fucking fence to get away from him. Hey, Daddy gonna be over there. I'll cut him into fucking pieces.
What? Terrifying.
You got any of that fucking dust for Daddy? Daddy need a little dust. Larry, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? This is Larry in Yonkers.
Hey, Larry.
How you doing, Gail?
Doing good.
I just wanted to call and check in. I didn't get a chance to hear yesterday's show until this morning, and I hear Chris wasn't too thrilled with my scoping of him.
Here's what happened, Larry. Your scope was better than his scope.
I don't think that's possible, Ron.
It is possible. You don't need to kiss up to this non-inhaling son of a bitch.
Hey,
People out there are saying, that Chris is the Tay of Periscope or the Oliver Twist of Periscope, but I don't think so. I think he's the Abe Fruman of Periscope.
I see this just got tweeted to us from Jeremiah. I totally came to your scope spot today to try to see, but it was raining. And then he said, and then Jared said, "Did Puka Dude pick the tunes today, bro?" Larry, you blew Chris away with your Metascope. And
Thank you, Ron.
He's weak-shouldered yesterday's news. It's not,
Your Metascope was a Betascope.
Son of a bitch. That's so good.
I have to defer to the Benningtons, but I did just want to tell Chris it was nothing but respect.
Larry, forget him. We're going to see you at the big Thanksgiving show.
Yes.
And you guys went out and saw Late Show last night. How was that?
It was fantastic. We were front row center.
Yeah.
So I blew my voice out a little bit.
Screaming?
But, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Steven!
Yeah.
Steven!
Indeed, yeah. Steven and I are on a first name basis, at least.
Did you start scoping his fucking show too, like you did to Chris?
Yeah.
I actually scoped afterwards. It was it's John Baptiste's birthday yesterday, and they did a whole show in the lobby after the show. They did like a 10-minute performance, and I scoped the whole thing. So that was pretty good. It's still up there.
That's the kind of shit that Chris used to get when he had his finger on the pulse.
Hey, I had a big smoke with Chris last night with the Big J. Okerson and Dan Soder. They were loving it. And they weren't breaking out their phones to Periscope me while I was Periscoping them.
No, but they wander away. And what's Big J's finger problem?
He doesn't like touching. When fingers touch, he freaks the fuck out. Like,
but it also has something to do with the cuticles, right?
Yeah, the cuticles and the fingers themselves, if they touch, he does not like that. He weirds him out.
I was saying, like, if he sees somebody, like, pushing their cuticle back like that, it freaks him out.
He was molested. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. That just means he was molested as a kid.
Touched.
All right, Larry, see you next week, buddy. By the way, and I love people's weird phobias. I love them. I could hear weird phobias forever.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I had the problem with, like, a wet broom, where if a broom is being pushed on the sidewalk like concrete, someone's washing their front of their storefront, I freak the fuck out. I have to cross the street.
Is it sound or texture?
Both, because it's the sound of that wet bristles against concrete, and I picture the bristles in my head rubbing against this concrete, and the sound just fucking goes right through me. I have to run away from the sound.
It's so specific. How often does it come up?
It happens a lot. Like if you're walking here in the morning.
In Manhattan, yeah, people they shovel and try to get puddles off the sidewalk and stuff like that when it snows. And there's a broom on concrete quite a bit in Manhattan.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I'm walking through a goddamn horror movie. It's disgusting.
See, in Manhattan, if you fall on someone's sidewalk, the store gets sued. Right. So any snow or rain, they're trying to make sure there isn't any fucking possible way, because there's enough slip and fall cocksuckers in this town.
I know.
You know what I mean? Wedge Stream says, I finally caught up on Fargo, so I don't have to be scared to listen to the spoilers on Bennington. Don't worry, we always give you the fucking Fargo. I could binge watch that right now.
I just wish another episode was available.
We're halfway through the whole thing. We're at 5 and they're only running 10.
I don't like that. I want there to be so many more.
No, but that's why it doesn't suck. When you have the shows that go on forever.
Right.
Like right now, everybody's caught up in Leftovers, right? Because you're like, what the fuck? How could this happen? What are they doing? But then I go, oh, I know how it could happen, because they don't know. And they're just making up weird shit.
Right.
And I'll eventually hate Leftovers. I will never hate Fargo.
No, yeah, Leftovers has the Lost effect, where it's just like, all right, we don't know how this thing's going to end.
And there's been a million Lost since Lost.
Yeah.
The Dome is a lost.
Yeah, well, the Dome lost me after one season. I fucking believed them the first season.
The first season I watched, and then I watched the first episode of the second season, and I was like, oh, I get it. Joke's on me.
Now there's not even a Dome on the show anymore.
There's no more Dome?
Somebody told me that. They said there's no Dome in Dome.
Is it called Open Air? What the fuck?
I watched the original. It was late 60s. It was called Astrodome. And it was so interesting. So good. You know, when the Astrodome was built, they would do tours like it was... Like, can you believe it? This is a giant dome. You would go there, wouldn't even be a ball game on. And you would pay money for someone to take you around, show you the dome.
There's a roof on this giant building?
I remember when I was a little kid being told, It can rain in there under the right circumstances.
I heard those crazy facts.
I don't think it ever did.
It's like a biosphere.
Mike, what's up?
Bennington's.
Yeah.
Remember in old school when Snoop Dogg covered Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full?
See, I had no idea that was a cover.
I thought that was a Snoop song.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's Eric B. and Rakim.
To me, every fucking rap song sounds like a cover of the rap song I heard before it.
They're all 99 Problems.
Is a bitch one of them?
No.
Lucky for him, then.
Yeah.
Lucky for him. Because all I got is bitch problems. That would be one of those things where you do the response songs. That would be my Judy's turn to cry.
Judy's turn to cry. That song is so funny because the opening of that song, she starts it with like, I was at a party. It's like, yeah, it was your birthday party. Like,
Right.
how do you forget already? It wasn't just a party.
Well,
it was
again,
your party
they
and you
wanna-
cried.
Yeah, but you got to make the song work for the people that didn't hear the first song.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
was the thing that really cracked me up. It's also very mean-spirited. You're really taking this out on Judy.
Eric in Kentucky.
It's my first time calling on the Rock God line, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it? Blasphemous
Great.
as it is.
So, you know, these shows where they do these multiple seasons, one after another and another, you know, I don't know if I get tired of them or what, but I kind of tap out after season 2 or 3. That's what, you know, we went through, like Bloodline, for example. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. We get done, and I felt like that was it. Like, that was all we needed. My wife tells me, look, there's another season coming, and it's kind of a bummer. It's like, no, I don't want to see them try to spin this whole storyline. We're done, and that's what's great about Fargo is we're done, and then there's a new Fargo, and it's totally different than the last one. But
You know who taught, I think, America this was Ricky Gervais with his Office. No one ever got around to hating that Office the way they did the American Office.
It had you wanting more.
Yes.
And then we got more an American version, and I ended up despising it more than anything.
All right, a lot of stuff going on with New York's Funniest. A bunch of the comedians are going to be in here today. And if you go over the Comedy News on the iBank, there's going to be a bunch of write-ups from some of these shows. Here's one, too. Patrice has a new album coming out. I mean, you're prolific when you can put out a new album this long after you pass away.
I know. That means people are still wanting it.
And then, of course, Dan's big gig is Friday night. What's the name of his show? Highlander?
It's the Highlander.
Yeah.
There can only be one. that
Yeah.
I
lives.
hope it's me.
Yeah.
Can it be
In
an
here,
audience
Dan.
man?
Get away, because you guys, the way you are with those fucking headphones, it drives me nuts. And then if I hear someone say, excuse me, in the other room, I'm just like, look, if I can't get my own staff to pay attention to the show, then what?
And I have to share my sweat. Like, my sweat is shared with Dan's head also when we share headphones, which is homoerotic.
Gross.
Chris, remind me to go over something to you about the Thanksgiving show, too.
Okay.
All right, Dan, your show's called what?
Hindsight.
Hindsight.
And there can only be one? Is that how it works out, or am I still in Highlander?
No,
That's Highlander.
That's Highlander. There can be a myriad.
Oh,
Very
I
nice.
wish fucking Highlander was that
There
way.
can only be a myriad.
Yeah. By the way, I overtook you as being Joe's best friend, or weekend dad, as I like to think of it.
Sorry, Dan.
Were you
guys-
jealous?
You guys really clicked?
Yeah.
He clicked.
Yeah.
I was fighting sleep because I went from the fucking cold to a leather seat. They've made movie theater seats too comfortable now. I fucking passed out before the movie started.
I'm so happy, though, that you guys had a chance to really bond. You know, just get that one-on-one time. It's really special.
Yeah.
Can I say my favorite hanging out with Joe thing he does is he'll make a joke, and then if it's not funny, I just will tune it out, and then he'll kind of mutter like, I mean, I was just kidding.
Yeah, I do that quite a
He
bit.
bails out quite a bit.
He was talking to me, I guess, for an hour about pugs, and I'm like, so you got a lot of them, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I got so many.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, I'm going to wait until your mom opens the door, and I can't be here next weekend. I'm going somewhere with my girlfriend.
Okay.
But probably the weekend after that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But you didn't see my pod collection yet.
No, I haven't.
I have at least 17 slammers, so it's pretty cool.
I know, Joe, but you got to get out of the car now. Get your backpack, too.
Just let me show you just a couple of my slammers, please. I got Ninja Turtle slammer. I got a couple of different ninja guys.
I know you got a lot of them, buddy, but I got to get going. I have to...
What about this Shredder slammer? It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I want to get back to my apartment and eat over the sink.
Dad?
But I love having you here.
Dad, when are you coming back?
Well, right now, I'm very, very busy.
But I thought you were going to come see my pogs.
Yeah, not now, but it doesn't mean that I don't love you and your pogs. I do. But I got to leave now, Joey. Get out. Get out of the car.
Can we still watch the Vikings game?
No, you and your brother embarrass me. Now, this would be interesting for you, the WGA, or you'll
Yes.
probably be a member of that if
Yeah.
your thing will go through.
Mm-hmm.
They put out the 101 best comedy screenplays of all time. Gail, off the top of your head, what would you pick best comedy screenplay?
I would say, what about Bob?
What about Bob? That's a fucking strong one. I'm not even sure it made the 101. What would you think, Joe?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles did make it. What about for you?
I was going Mel Brooks. I was going to say Young Frankenstein.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something about that fucking thing. The original script wasn't by Mel Brooks. It was by the star of that movie, Gene Wilder.
Oh, my God.
And then Gene said, I'll do Blazing Saddles if you direct this movie. Mel didn't even want to fucking do that.
Holy shit, I
Really?
never heard that
Yeah.
story.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And that's by far my favorite out of all those. Yeah. Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles are both up there. What about for you?
The first thing that popped into my head was Spinal Tap. But the only thing I'm not sure is I don't know how much was improvised.
Spinal Tap is in there and also another Chris Guest. And I know that they're pretty much improvised. But Guest and Eugene Levy kind of write up the scenes and then let people improvise.
Right.
So they're listed as the writers
Right.
of those movies.
Then I would put Spinal Tap.
Well, none of you guys seem to live in New York City, where we have the greatest comedic screenwriter and director of all time, who, by the way, took 7 of
Really?
the top 101.
Wow.
And I still think that's low. They pick Annie Hall as the number 1 of all time. But see, here's the thing when it comes to some of that. To say the best screenplay and the best, comedy, that's almost 2 different things. I mean, there's some really funny fucking movies that if you read the screenplay, you probably wouldn't think is good.
Like, even if you take Annie Hall and then Hannah and her sisters.
Right.
Like, probably Annie Hall is probably a better screenplay
You
and
think?
premise. But I think that I like Hannah better.
I mean, they're both great movies, but you have to distinguish. So this is the 100 funniest screenplays ever.
Right.
So if it's the 100 best films and you're going to put Annie Hall toward the top, sure. But there's no way that Annie Hall is funnier than even his other movies, Sleeper, Take the Money and Run.
See, that's an interesting premise.
So you have to decide if you're going to do funniest. There's no way Annie Hall is the funniest screenplay.
But here's the deal. This is actually screenwriters writing this up. So I think screenwriters do not respect silly comedy as much. Like Sideways makes this list. Now, Sideways is a very good film. There's laughs in it, but it isn't a wall-to-wall laugh fest.
And it wouldn't be the kind of screenplay that I would imagine you would pick up and say, this is so funny, it has
Right.
to be made. Maybe you would say, this is a well-written screenplay,
Right.
and there's some comedy in there. But you definitely would not be, like, laughing aloud reading that.
I would say like Manhattan, like another Woody Allen, like an amazing movie, and I'm gonna bet that made this list. But there's no way that's a funnier screenplay than like Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents is a funnier thing. It's not a better film. It's not a better movie. I would never say that's a better comedy. But if you're just saying funniest, then you can't gauge by like, oh well, it's a better film altogether.
So you're going by laughs per minute.
If they're if they're doing 100 best comedy movies, then you could argue. But if they're doing 100 funniest screenplays, then you can't say The Graduate is one of the funniest screenplays. It's one of the best movies.
Graduate is in this list as well. It's all up on the iBang if you want to check it out. I think when you really look at laughs per minute, for me, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a fucking scream fest. And I saw it in the theater, and I saw people, fucking just rolling down the aisles and climbing up curtains, and just fucking punching their friends in the face. I mean, people went ape shit in that. But Airplane is in the top 5, and I feel like that thing did not age. When it came out, people were crazy about it. But if I put it on fucking TV now, I feel like, ugh. Yeah.
Right.
It might be one of those, how they put out those shitty things for kids every year now, like the movie parodies.
Scary movie and epic movie.
Yeah, all those things. They're just fucking unwatchable to me.
It's the reference movie is what it is. It's like, it's a Kardashian getting fucked up or whatever. None of them age well. None of them. Not one. Airplane's like the only one that's still like that people bring up in that genre of comedy film.
Yeah, but I also think that's the right. If you look at by the way, number 3 on this list, Groundhog's Day. Fucking Harold Ramis is all over this list.
I was picking between Groundhog's Day and What About Bob. I mean, probably Groundhog's Day in the same idea, where I bet that is a really great screenplay too. Like, it's not just like you would read that and be fascinated even just without having seen it. You know what I mean?
If I was to, I would agree with that. And I heard that Bill and Harold Ramis fought over the fact that Bill wanted it to be darker, and Harold Ramis wanted there to be jokes in the movie that were, had people laughing out loud. But that is that fucking movie could have easily worked as a drama. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
you didn't even fucking joke one in that movie, and yet it's funny as shit.
Like, it's got like the darkness of like Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah,
like in its premise.
Which he wanted to be even darker. He wanted the ending.
Right, exactly.
Be way darker than they made him be.
Which one?
Eternal Sunshine.
What did he want the ending to be?
So the ending is them like laughing and realize that they'll go through the relationship together. But he wanted to show that they keep breaking up and going back to the thing and getting their brains erased.
Oh yeah, you're the one who said it was
uplifting,
and we said it was fucking soul crushing.
It's uplifting the way they ended up doing it, but he wanted it to be soul crushing.
I didn't find it uplifting. I found the whole thing exhausting.
Yeah.
And we were even talking about Annie Hall. I find the end of that thing kind of just sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
It's a very sad, the fact that they're even on the Upper West Side at the end of that movie is what had me sad. Like, what happened? That they had to move over there across the park. Yeah. That's on the wrong side of the park right now. So, but I had heard this before, that the Pet Detective screenplay made the rounds fucking time and time again. Everybody's like, what is this piece of shit?
Yeah.
But if you go laughs per minute, that fucking movie is hysterical. But I doubt very much that we would read the script first and go, oh, I want to give this to my client.
Yeah, that couldn't be made without Jim Carrey.
Now,
or if it was, it easily could have been a mess.
Now, if you're going to say Sideways is on the list, I think Goodfellas or even Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction are funnier fucking scenes.
Absolutely.
Than that, And obviously, Goodfellas isn't a comedy, not even a dark comedy. And yet, I will laugh harder at the jokes in fucking Goodfellas than most so-called comedies.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. So, right. And at that point, you're just doing the best films. So you might as well just do that.
Right.
And so I understand, it's Guild or whatever. They can't get over the fact that like, oh, we can't put Zoolander above something that might have been nominated for an Oscar. But if you're going to judge by what the funniest thing is, then something like Hangover is probably funnier than
Old
some
School
of these
that belong on there. I mean,
Right.
Old School's a fucking funny movie.
Right.
I know when I saw Old School, I was fucking laughing my ass off.
I didn't watch it for years later. Then I rewatched it. I was like, holy shit, this fucking movie is incredibly funny. Like, you forget. I mean, but that thing should be on there. It's an hysterical film.
And it's really funny that a lot of this stuff is new, and then you have classic, 1940s Billy Wilder. And,
Right.
Marx Brothers.
Yeah, Marx Brothers stuff is all over there. But that's the only stuff that I think you could truly say has stood the test of time.
Yes.
I don't know if we could even say Zoolander will still seem funny to people because it was really about that time.
Right.
Patrice O'Neill had that fucking thing of, aging like wine or aging like bread. And it's really true of comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More than what he said, pussy. Here's John in North Carolina.
Well, good afternoon, and I just had to go back to when you interviewed the Farrelly brothers about their story about them reading the script to all their stoner buddies and laughing their ass off, and that was just such a great story when you had them on Unmasked, and I just had to throw that one out there. The other one was the Animal House. I don't know. I would have to say that those have to be on the list.
Animal House didn't make the list. Dumb and Dumber is one of those things that, and he explained the story of taking it around to people and have them go, this is ridiculous. Who is going to believe this? It's a very thin line. And the fact that those guys directed their own script probably made it a funnier fucking movie than if they turned it over to somebody who didn't have their exact sense of humor.
Who would have thought I have to make a Hollywood movie out of this?
But how many times in our life have we gone like this? Goodbye, my love. That literally was the last thing I said to Fez when I dropped him off at the airport. That's literally what I yelled as I was driving away. I was looking for something to hit. You know what I mean? Like I thought that would make it perfectly. Here is Jason. Jason.
Hey, Bennington. I found it odd that Fargo is on the list. Not that I don't love the movie, and there's a lot of hilarious parts in it. But like you said, Goodfellas is very dark, just like Fargo is, and has a lot of hilarious parts in it. And also, Shakespeare in Love is on that. I don't see that.
I never got Shakespeare in Love. No. I never understood it. But Fargo, while to me is very, very funny, the number of Cohen brothers that should be on the list, I don't think Raising Arizona is on there, which may be the funniest fucking...
That's crazy if it's not. It absolutely should be on there.
Yeah.
Because that's like everything.
That's all scripted too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one's doing that thing of, oh, we're going to get that person's personality to cover it. They probably sat down and worked that as if they were dramatic actors.
Right.
I'm sure Holly Hunter looked at it that way. No one knows what's going through Nick Cage's mind at any fucking moment. The list is up on the iBang. And this is something that, is always, it's always funny to me when someone tells you something is a funny comedy and you don't like it. It almost feels like I can't be friends with that person. It's almost like if someone said, you know what? I'm a Scientologist. And I think, you would have that fucking big chill of, huh?
Yeah, comedy way more than drama. Like if somebody saw a dramatic movie and was like, I just thought it was genius, it was so good, and you thought it was a piece of shit, you'd be like, that must have hit that person in such a way. Right. Who knows what their experiences are. You would not, I don't think you judge somebody for saying they like a drama that you don't like nearly as much as a comedy. Because then you're like, I don't know you.
I've judged people the extent to which they've loved a drama. Like when Her came out, there were just a lot of people like, Williamsburg sort of hipster types that were just really beating off over it to an extent of like, all right, you can relax a little bit.
What did you take it as a comedy or a drama?
I took it as a drama.
I took it as a fucking sci-fi horror film. I was fucking freaked by that movie, and I tried to talk to people, and I know a person who said, I don't, and was acting like, well, once it has a personality, it's a person, and I don't see anything wrong with it. And I'm like, I'm freaking out that you're fucking saying this, because I think what we missed was the next act when those fucking computers take over the whole world and get rid of human beings.
Now that they've lured you in.
I was freaking when she was saying, like, oh, I'm talking to 1,800 people at the same time or whatever.
Yeah.
I fucking screamed in the theater.
And she's in love with like 900 of them.
Yes. Like, our brains are too small now. We're fucking ant brains. I'm actually talking about one of your mom's sisters.
Oh, really?
That's when I go with that. Jamie.
Hey, Ron, I'm coming to this with some hesitation because about 9 years ago you attacked me for being a fan of Last Temptation of Christ. But
I don't think that's true. I love that movie.
The best script of all time. True Romance.
Not true.
Hands down.
True Romance is a great script. I always wished I could have seen Tarantino direct that movie.
What if he remade it?
I would love that, just to get the music changed.
Music change, but I'm fine with the casting. Let's say same cast.
Even if he redoes it and they're going to be older?
Yeah.
Somebody's just like doing this at age 50?
I think that would be cool.
Okay. Well, Tarantino has that ability. Not too long ago, Reservoir Dogs was back on fucking TV like it is every 3 minutes, but I hadn't seen it in years. And that opening fucking scene of them sitting around the table is brilliant.
Yeah.
And nothing like that had happened in fucking movie before, where you saw guys busting balls about something that has nothing to do with pushing the plot along. And the fact was that you hear Tarantino talking before you see anything else.
Yeah.
It's one of the great introductions of any great fucking director. And that's why I'm against the New York cops right now. You know what's great about the New York cops? They were fucking protesting at Crazy Mansion.
They were going nuts.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah. We were just sitting around the other day hearing about a guy about his brothers and sisters being attacked. And then these same brothers and sisters were attacking the fucking mayor. And no one acts like they're being disrespectful.
Nope.
Take your beautiful 1% raise. That's what they're offered. 1%. Don't give me anything then. I'm not going to notice.
Stock my pay. Stock
Get
it
it.
instead.
You basically just told me you're buying me lunch.
If I don't know. David in Tennessee.
Hey, Benningtons. If Raising Arizona and Oh Brother aren't on that list, then I don't know what funny is, because that, to me, it reads funny.
Yeah,
I would think, and Clooney's never been better.
No, it's true.
In anything. How could that not? How can they not be on that list?
I don't understand what goes on with these folks, except for I think a lot of this has to do with the age of the people that. You know, the people probably in the Writers Guild are 40s and 50s, right?
Yes. Right.
So they caught these certain movies at an early age. And by the way, my favorite year is on here, which
I still have to see. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'm going to go see that tonight. And every day I'm like, did you see it?
Every day.
No.
If we're talking about Goodfellas, I'm assuming King of Comedy's not on there.
No. King of Comedy not on there.
That's another one. If you're putting ones like Sideways and stuff where it's like comedy drama sort of thing.
I'm looking to remake the King of Comedy with Jenny Hutt as the fucking
so good. Perfect. I think she's in.
Well, I know one thing. She bumped Gail.
What?
I got bumped today.
Yeah.
She
was supposed to do the Jenny Hutt show.
Yes.
And you were bumped.
No.
Yeah, well, initially, I didn't think I was bummed. I heard from her producer last night, and she's like, we weren't able to secure the studio. And I was like, oh, no worries. Like, you know, I'm around. So, like, whenever you want to do it, just let me know. But then this morning, she's on Periscope saying, I'm headed into the studio to do some interviews.
Oh, caught in a scope lie.
She's scoping the truth, and she's having the producer lie. I don't know. Maybe her producer didn't know that I work here.
This is ridiculous.
You realize what's happening now, right?
What's that?
You can never do that show.
Ever.
And this is a radio war.
It's fucking on, Jenny Hutt. You bumped Gail Bennington?
For who? Who'd she have on?
Who'd she have, Gail? Do you know?
She had Kelly Osbourne.
Oh,
which,
well,
by the way,
okay,
by the
sure.
way,
Yeah,
here's the
alright.
thing. Here's what
Makes sense.
Here's the thing. If her producer would have emailed me last night and said, "Hey, we have an opportunity to do Kelly Osbourne tomorrow. Would you mind rescheduling?" I'd be fine with that. Hey, I get it. We're in the same biz, my friend.
Yeah.
Hold on. If she said I have Kelly Osbourne in 2003, I'd say, yeah, of course. That show's gigantic.
Radio War, Scope War is on also.
Scope Talk Lies. That's what I
That's great.
Thanks,
Hey, Joe.
Stop
It's
it.
a couple letters away.
You got to do your own thing. It's called Scope Talk Lies, where just people lie about not having people in their scopes.
Just missed Dan Aykroyd. He was just here on my Scope Talk Lies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were
He
doing.
got
with that.
you.
Going with the bit.
He got you.
Yeah. Work then, I guess.
You're not on Periscope, though, so that's not the bet.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Where the fuck does Jenny Hutt get off? I guess Long Island.
Here's what I don't understand. When Opie double books, he just has everybody in.
Yeah.
So it would have been you, Kelly Osbourne,
Yeah. We could talk about our.
Jenny Hutt. You broke my heart.
It's on now, lady.
You know what? Now I know how Jenny Hutt felt when Martha Stewart's daughter kicked the shit out of her on fucking the Today Show for 2 different segments. I don't know what was wrong with the Today Show while they were doing that.
Why didn't they pull the plug?
I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting in my house going, why would these 2 ever get 2 segments? And I figured out why. Because it was like one of those videos where you watch one girl just beating the shit out of another on World Star.
They got to kill like 6 hours on that show. They keep making it longer and longer. It's like 6 to noon, I think. They'll beat her up all day.
This is disgusting.
You know
what?
I'm just not big time. You know what I mean? I get it.
No.
I'm
but
not big
something
time.
else. You don't have a producer looking out for you. This should have been Chris Stanley handling this whole thing from the beginning.
Actually, come to think of it,
what?
I've been dealing with her producer.
You are too fucking involved in Drunk Talk Live to care about anything.
Scope Talk Live, smoking with Chris.
By the way, I just said to Chris today, I go like this. So what size is the stage that they're putting up for this gig? He goes, I went over and checked out everything. It's perfect. And he goes like this. There is no stage. And I go, how are we going to do this with a stage? We have lighting? I didn't see. I didn't notice. I go, what did you possibly look over there at?
I think he just went there for some free chicken.
And then he actually said to me, well, we could move the table for the second segment. I go, no shit, we can move the table. Why did you go over there like that?
We're going back over there tomorrow morning.
We should just hand this whole thing over to Vito, because Vito understands.
Vito gets me.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about Jenny Hutt. Just never do her show again. And when we see her in a hall, we just don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Or I could try to hurt her kids' feelings.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
I'll throw red paint on her like she was wearing fur next time I see her.
Well, I don't think that applies, but
I like it.
No, it's
Let
okay.
it, yeah. Let it simmer a little bit before we pull the trigger. But I do just like a
In the
bucket of fucking, and then you yell murderer.
Oh, yeah. Cashmere, go to Home Depot.
Dude, let me tell you something. If you're going to do it, you got to do it yourself instead of yelling at Cashmere.
Oh, no, he's going to get the paint for me. I'll do it
He's
myself.
my fashion guy. I should have sent fucking Cashmere over to the Hard Rock today to see if there were lights and a stage and sound. And I go, how are the people in the room going to hear? And he goes, hear what? I go, the show that we're doing.
Give me them hearts, bro.
I'm worried about how am I going to get hearts in here.
You know what? Don's coming in a little later on.
Yeah.
Let's cancel it.
No.
Why? You fucking went over there and didn't without a checklist and checked nothing off. And you barely inhale. Justin,
Love
in
inhaling.
Philly.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey.
Holy shit, man. I just wanted to thank you. We got our Thanksgiving tickets 2 days ago. My wife, a funny thing happened. Our anniversary, our 15-year anniversary is 3 days before the show. So both of us sent in, without the other knowing, trying to win the tickets to surprise each other. And I got mine 2 days ago, and she got hers last night. So we received 2 of the emails. She's already replied back on hers, so we don't, screw somebody out of it. But we're both huge fans, and we're just so excited to go.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so now you got 2 extra tickets.
Someone's going to get a lucky email there today.
Look around and check out the guy, because he tweeted to me that went out to try to see Scope Talk Live out front.
All right. Find him
what
now.
his name was. I think it was... Oh, good. Hard Rock Johnny wrote this. Jenny Hutt is a liar, and her producers do her dirty work.
Wow. I just tell the truth. I did not mean to start a radio war, but these things happen.
You did.
I'm
It's on now.
face that launched 1,000 ships. It's can't be blamed
All right.
for it.
Another person said, calling all Bennington show fans, we must now boycott Jenny Hutt. I always said that I'm against boycotting, but now I'm into paint throwing. But you can still listen. I don't think that you shouldn't stop listening.
Or what I'm going to do is just write Merry Christmas on her when she walks by.
I like that. All right, Tim Knight is going with hashtag Block Hut. I do like the idea. I forgot this guy, another Johnny, just put nominate Chris Rock. Why did she ever do that? That was so weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
That was so odd. Now when I see what Jenny Hutt did to you, I finally get Greg Hardy. You know what I mean? At the end of this.
Thank you.
It took a long way.
Yeah.
Finally.
Now I'm Cowboy Nation on this. Okay?
He's a leader.
He's a leader on our team. First of all, you fucking just ruined everything about your team and your white hat image, and you're still 2-5. Like, it would be if you were 5-2. I'm like, well,
Hardy changed his Twitter bio to say innocent until proven guilty, even though he was convicted. He was found guilty.
That's actually how it works. You're right.
What's even weirder is his Twitter handle's like Overlord Kraken, like something really crazy. Greg Hardy 2 wasn't taken.
Rod Banger wrote to her Scope War.
The Scope War.
Hashtag you fucked up, and then it's on like Simon LeBon. Oh, I like that.
That's good.
0 retweets, 0 likes. This is why she doesn't get followed. You should follow her and then unfollow her. Keb says bumping Gail in and then lying to her is never okay. Radio War is on, and Canada supports Bennington show. Oh, that's good.
Oh,
yes.
You said this. It's Jenny Hutt. It's not the Tonight Show. You get more exposure on Smoking with Chris.
You know what?
Yeah,
that's a good point, because it's good to have those type of friends.
But here's something that's that sometimes we never take this into consideration. The other day when I did Opie's show, I got past the Stanglehold, and I was able to just get in and see my friend again. And I'm not saying he's hypnotized by them, but brainwashed. I don't know.
Cult-like.
But we were talking about somebody being cut out of a movie, and like Norton was like, yeah, it's never easy. And I looked over and I'd forgotten that he got cut out of Trainwreck.
Yeah.
And I could see that he still felt bad about it.
Yeah.
Even though we were like, it's when it happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard not to get your hopes up.
Yeah.
The way I did with Jenny.
Right.
Seeing here that one of these tweets that Johnny wrote was retweeted by SiriusXM Comedy.
Good.
And it's
Good.
Yes. The whole comedy department on our side.
I think we got 50 stations now, too.
This is really touching.
That includes Canada.
Yeah. Let's start and write to her guests that she's an abusive person.
Done.
This better come up on the talk.
Is she on the talk, or is she just right out there and ask a question? One question she asked.
She got one segment, yeah.
But that was the same as the last one, and then they don't talk with her.
Yeah, I didn't. To be honest with you, and I'm gonna, put my feelings aside about how hurt I was to be bumped, but I did not appreciate the way that they, treat her. She didn't get enough out there. They gave her 1 second to talk.
They gave her too much.
All right, she just fucking writes to us. Just stop it. There wasn't a studio. My producer was trying to arrange. There was no bumping. Just stop it.
Oh, Key Bump Hut. That's what I call her now.
By the way, she's blocked by us. Not even just not followed. She's blocked. I don't even know how any of that shit happened.
How you like living in a blocked world, Hut? You like it? No, you don't, do you? Well, you don't bump Gail Bennington. And watch out for me. I have a can of paint right now.
All right. Now that I've had time to think about it, I think that makes this look worse.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive. It's more aggressive.
And it's dumb. I mean, no one's going to get that.
It's not like my blood was spilled. You know what I mean? I was sure if she had injured me to the point of bleeding, definitely throw the red paint
But the thing is she did get her fur up in this case, and that all ties in.
It all makes sense now.
Let's go over. Hard Rock Johnny has called us. Johnny.
I'd like to thank the comedy department, the entire comedy department, for retweeting me. I appreciate that.
This is Hard Rock's latest. At Kelly Osbourne, did you know that you were doing an interview with a liar?
I may or may not have also replied to Jenny Hutt's comment to you guys. I don't know.
Oh, good.
Something about lies, all lies.
Good.
Screw the redhead.
And the I nominate Chris Rock always hurts.
It's the greatest, worst thing ever someone has done.
I know. I was actually on Ope the other day when he was playing it. I'm like, why would she ever do that? And he's like, I don't know.
It was just horrible. I nominate Chris Rock.
And I nominate Chris Rock. And the song was like, blacks have got to kill the cops. The cops are bad and the thugs are good. Kill the cops. Kill all the cops. My name is Jenny Hutt. Matt just said, I'm never jacking a Jenny Hutt again. That's disgusting.
You hear that, Hut? No more batches for you.
How do you like it now?
Huh? Hut?
What kind of walkthrough did this idiot do at your place, Johnny?
I was calling to just say he did a really good one. We talked about the stage and the lighting.
He said he didn't think of any of those things, and I'm sending Don over there now.
I didn't say that he thought about it when he was here, but we had follow-up questions. I think we're all good.
Liz Sets Fire says no one puts Gail Ann in the corner.
That is so sweet. I really feel like so well taken care of by you guys. I was feeling so bad about myself.
Sure you were. Well, you know what? You found out that Jenny doesn't think that you're one of the cool girls.
Yeah, I guess I'm
way
not.
cooler than Kelly Osbourne.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks.
I can never tell the two of you apart.
Similar.
Maybe we just... Oh, I got it now. We just start to call her Jenny Butt.
Jenny Butt. Coming for you, Butt.
Ew.
You know how many times you yelled that lately?
Yeah.
Or we just start to call her Jenny P in my butt.
That's it.
All right, Gorilla Bob said this to Jenny Hutt. Your tweets say one thing. Your scopes demonstrate your true nature. Radio war.
Her soul's exposed.
All the cops should be killed by all the blacks. Smoking crack and shooting cops.
It's weird because the lyrics are so aggressive, but her voice is so sweet.
I'm going 187 on a motherfucking cop. Like all the cops, the ones with children.
I nominate Chris Rock.
Yeah, I nominate Chris Rock to kill a cop. I'm Jenny Hutt. Did Ron White say that on Opie today, that he's running for president? He's got my vote. He has got my vote.
Yes.
All right, this one just says, Church of Bennington said, Hutt seen drinking coffee with Hitler. Dave says, how do you sleep? To her. I believe in a big, giant fucking bed with money in the
I've seen it on her scope.
And platinum records just piled up.
She's living like the Queen of Versailles in there.
I don't know where Versailles is, but is it in Long Island?
Yes.
It's out east.
I know it. I know it was out there.
On Long Island?
You been out on Long Island?
I have never been to Long Island. Well, I've been there
Really?
once to pick up to buy a Bronco with my roommate. That was
Where'd you get Peyton Manning? You can rent him. You can't buy him.
Oh no, there's a new hashtag. I stand with Gail.
Oh, good.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Just happy
Gail
that I don't
lives
stand
matter.
alone.
I like to say all lives matter, except for comp. Oh man, did you see what's that fucking club up on Turtle Bay? That Irish bar that everybody goes to? A fucking Marine stabbed a soldier on Veterans Day there after the parade.
No.
Yeah.
Eternal Bay is the name of it. Turtle Bay.
Oh, it is. The place is called Turtle Bay.
Yeah.
Because that area is called Turtle Bay as well. Yeah, he fucking stabbed him in the back during Veterans Day. So they said this.
Jesus.
I mean, this is just a regular shitty, I don't want to say shitty, just a regular bar, right? But everyone always goes there. The Saratoga chick is always bragging about their $2 hamburgers or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said that they had to close the place after the guy, and then they didn't open up till midnight, but the fucking paper said there was a line there. Like, can you clean up the blood? And they said there was actually wet broom on the sidewalk just getting rid of blood.
Ah,
disgusting.
Blood broom.
Put the game on.
Good thing Shrek is there. You know, Vince says, good thing you bumped Gail. You may have been singing Kill Cops.
Right. Could have been really bad for my career.
Racist police, you are over. Scope war. All the racist police have to die. I'm Jenny Hutt, and I'm telling you why. Why wouldn't she contact Gail Ann when she acquired a studio? This ends this false friendship we've had with her for a while anyway.
It's over, but
I thought it was real, but
no, it wasn't real. She was using you to get to your best friend, Kelly Osbourne.
She got what she wanted. She's a user.
Yeah.
She's a superficial user. Jenny, pee in my butt.
Do you want to say some of the stories you know you were planning to
Yeah, well,
share?
I'll just forget it. I'll
Yeah.
probably use it for something else.
Would it fit for something else, or was it more specific?
No, it's mostly about weight loss and periods.
Damn.
What are you doing? Highlander tour right now? Is that what's happening?
Highlander.
Only be a myriad.
Friday's the big show for that. And you're going, Gail? Or
I'm going to be there.
you're not bumping her, are you?
Never.
Please
Never.
don't.
Joe, you're going to be there?
I'll be there. Hashtag don't bail on Gail.
Oh, love
I
it.
love that.
Love it.
Got that.
Yeah.
Gallon said this. Why did Jenny bump Gail? Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Mm.
Jenny Hutt is responsible for the Starbucks Red Cup.
I knew it.
F, Mary, Kill, Gail, Jenny, and Kelly O. You know where you land now, Hutt. I stand with Gail. I call on Chris Rock to boycott Jenny Hutt.
He might listen this time.
Baldwin. I call him that's my fucking favorite one. I call on Chris Rock to boycott Jenny Hutt.
We'll see what he says in his Oscar monologue.
He's doing the Oscars again this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Did they remember the last time?
Forgot.
Yeah.
They should just do away with the Oscar host.
They've even tried that before, and even that doesn't work. They can't make anything entertaining out of it.
It's impossible.
It's impossible to do a good Oscars.
There's nothing anyone ever likes about the entire fucking
Here's what I would
ceremony.
do if I was hosting the Oscars. I would come out and go like this. Best Picture goes to Titanic. Best Actor, Robert De Niro. Just pick people's favorite things.
I think they did that one year when there was the writer's strike, so they couldn't have the actual ceremony, so they just did like a press conference sort of thing.
I thought, wasn't...
Or did they end up doing it?
I thought there was something. I don't know if it was the Oscars, but maybe it was like a 9/11 thing or something that pushed it back. I remember they did one of the Oscars that might have been planned for when Reagan was shot. But they didn't know that, he was like Wolverine. He was self-healing.
Right.
He was gonna be fine.
They said he was healed by the time he got to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
He just walked out.
What do you think about that angle on Fargo, having Ronald Reagan on there?
I'm not sure why they did it just yet. I don't know if it's going to...
I'm worried he's either going to massacre some people or get killed. That's all I worry about. That's good interaction, guys. All right, Johnny. If we don't cancel this, we'll get back in touch soon.
All right, good. Yeah, let me know if you need any more walkthroughs with anybody.
Let me just say, because I know we didn't do anything at the walk with. Did he bring up gravy, or did he just leave that off?
No, we got gravy.
Okay, good.
Oh, thank God.
We call it stuffing juice, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I referred to it as.
Well, make sure there's a stuffing juice boat that's sitting very close to us.
Of course.
Talk to you later, my friend.
Later.
We should have sent Cashmere.
Love Johnny. I know we should send Cashmere and everything. We should have Cashmere start doing scopes. Dude, your fucking head has been going since you started doing scopes.
I'm taken with it. I like doing the scopes, but I'm gonna try to. I gotta find balance in my life because I always, I get obsessed with something and then other things fall to the wayside. But I think I'm finally gonna find balance in my life. I got a couple of scopes coming up tomorrow, by the way.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, smoking with Chris, 10:45 a.m. And then 420 Blaze It returns tomorrow at 420. 420 Blaze It
returns to your Periscope schedule.
Be smoking some weed, all sorts of people.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I like smoking with Chris better than 420 Blaze It.
But this is sweeps. This is November sweeps time.
It's too edgy for my taste.
Who are you smoking with today?
Today, I think I'm gonna smoke with. I might smoke with Big J and Soda again around 5:30, and then tomorrow I'm blazing 420 blazing it with Christina and Shuli and Steve from Sirius XM.
Who's Steve?
Steve is a producer on J. Thomas. He's co-producer with Christina.
Oh, he's quieter.
Oh yeah, very quiet. I'm gonna try to get into his head, open him up a little bit. 420 blazing.
I like when Christina was like this. I like to roll it. I like to smoke it in a pipe, smoke it in a toilet roll. I have an apple. I really like to eat it, and still like to smoke it even more.
Yeah, we haven't decided how we're gonna smoke, but there will be.
I like to vape while I'm hitting on a hash pipe. Bong hits.
It's all good. Volcano.
When people smoke marijuana, they like to talk about it a lot.
Yeah, they're very big on discussing it, and I don't understand the obsession with doing it on Periscope because they'll talk about it, but for the most part, they're just like, "Hey, if you guys just want me to sit here and smoke."
I don't think always the biggest smokers are the ones who talk about it. I think some people just want to be the weed guys.
I don't know. If you go on Periscope, there's just a lot of people talking about it while they're smoking.
Showing their bud. They love showing
their
the bud.
Look at this. Sticky. I'm like, why am I watching you smoke this?
Check out the crystals, bro.
I'm an adult.
I know.
It shouldn't impress me.
Got that OG Kush.
No, you're gonna check you might be smoking with Big J tonight, right?
Yeah.
You want to check the ventilation in the men's room here first, so you don't get in the same.
We'll be on the street.
Caroline's incident.
Wow, Jenny's producer just wrote the Hard Rock Johnny. Grow up.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, snap.
He's coming at the Hard Rock now.
She don't know what she opened. Grow up. That's a grown man, lady. You produce a show with someone named Jennifer Butt.
That's good.
Who has a crosshair on her fucking back.
Oh. Did you say ass hair?
Ass hair.
Disgusting.
And a crosshair.
This has really gotten out of my control.
Yeah, I know.
He says grow up and calls her Jenny Butt one sentence later. Less than a sentence.
I don't see the connection. I want to be totally honest. I do not see the connection.
It's all connected. Synchronicity.
Man, Jenny Hutt is just fighting with our listeners now.
Well, that's your life now, Jenny Huff. You're bumping Gail.
They're basically saying "kiss my hut" back to us.
That doesn't sound so bad, actually.
No, it's actually
I think
pretty cool.
You guys need to work on that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a positive.
Sounds like somebody's getting some red paint.
It's coming.
Taking out the big guns.
Hey, Joel Boston.
Ronnie, you're such a humble hero, and you don't take credit for it. But the reason that she did that Sam Jackson song is because Puppet Master himself talked her into it. It was just unbelievably well played.
Loose lips, my friend. Loose lips.
Don't you get it, bro?
I wonder what that
The
guy
Cage
said.
of Jack wrote back to our producers fighting. No one wants to come on the Jenny Butt show.
It's what happened.
Yeah. This is the most fun recess ever.
And then Galen wrote this. Do you see what happens, Jenny? Do you see what happens when you fuck Gail in the ass, Jenny?
Wait, what?
Randy says, hey, Jenny Hutt, this isn't your multi-million-dollar Sweet 16. You just can't call your rich daddy and disinvite Gail Ed. Bob says, I bet big Jenny Hutt was the reason poor Stenty Fez quit. That's kind of true.
Yeah.
God, I never really knew the truth behind that.
Yeah. Knopf says, proof that gingers don't have souls. Mike in Michigan.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
What's up?
Gail didn't get bumped for Kelly Osbourne. He got bumped for her fucking dog.
No way.
Kelly is sitting there in that studio with her dog on her lap.
First of all, how'd she get her dog into the building? Jay Moore couldn't get her dog in his dog.
I
in
don't
the
know,
building.
but she's sitting there with this little ankle biter on her lap.
That's not fair.
I feel like I'm gonna
I'd
vomit.
like Birdie to come to the studio.
Sure. We'd love to do a birdie show. Of course, you'll have to
then
bring in
again,
a birdie bed.
Maybe it's Kelly's boyfriend. I don't know, but she's
Look
got
at
the
that.
mud on her lap.
No studio. And there's a studio with Kelly and a dog.
Giant studio.
Something's not
Yeah.
adding up.
Yeah, nothing, Joe. Nothing's adding up here because she's a liar. Jenny Butt is a liar.
I'm just beside myself, guys.
I'm worried that people are writing to at Jenny Butt and she's not even getting them.
We should get that handle quick.
Kelly's hair looks great. That's probably why she got picked.
She is fantastic.
Oh, your hair is great.
No,
No,
not that
it's good.
good.
It's good.
Hers is
Not-
purplier and better.
Purple's not always better.
Tell that to
Oh,
Prince.
she's
You're from
great.
Minneapolis.
True.
She's a big star.
Right,
She's got
purple is
great
better.
hair.
No.
You guys,
It happened. So what?
I mean,
I
it's
was
cool.
really excited. You know, It's
I know you were.
It's not
even-
often people ask me to be on their show.
Yeah.
It's not even that cool of a jacket.
My parents just wrote to me. We're trying to
Great
listen for Gail on that show. What happened?
Oh, God, I wish I never told them.
Yeah.
This is a disaster.
I was so excited.
I hate Jenny pee in my butt.
Wait, pee in your butt?
Pee in her butt?
Oh.
No, you said pee in
No,
your
you
butt.
said-
That's what you said.
You know,
That is a lot of piss. I don't know. I've ever had to piss that much.
Fill it up.
The piss reservoir back there.
We got a break here. Who we got coming in, Chris?
From the Comedy Central's Comics to Watch, we have David Bory and Ramon Rivas II coming in.
Ramon Rivas II?
That's right.
All right. We'll be right back. Bennington Show.
Welcome back to Bennington. In studio with us is David Bory and Ramon Rivas II. They were part of Comedy Central's Comics to Watch showcase during the New York Comedy Festival. On Twitter, it's at the G is silent for David Bory, and on Twitter, it's at Blazer Ramon for Ramon Rivas II.
Chris, you walked in past Chrissy Brinkley without even pointing him out?
Oh, I thought they saw Christy Brinkley.
No.
How could you do that?
No.
Guys, she's beautiful.
That doesn't help having you say that now. And then also you're wearing that thing around your head like you're doing an 80s workout.
I think it's a good look to have the bandana on.
Yeah, it is. I didn't say it wasn't a good work.
He looks like he's about to fight someone to get his kids back. It's real Springsteen. I like
Yeah,
it, man.
it is. Springsteen also, but from the 80s.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore, but that was the Born in the USA look.
80s are so hot right now. I'm just jumping.
Oh, are they? They're back in a big way?
God,
Good.
yes.
Good to hear it.
I thought they were gone again.
No, they're back.
They never
I guess.
left. They never really left.
Well, the only thing they left was MTV. The 80s pulled out of MTV, which now doesn't have videos anymore.
No.
How did the show go, guys?
It was great. It was
cool, man.
I did the audition at Caroline's like a month or so ago, and like it was like half full.
Yeah.
And like there were people like standing, I had a couple friends who I had on the guest list, and they left because there was just no room for them.
Yeah, Caroline's gets so behind this. I know when they do that contest later this week, it's 4:00 in the afternoon. And it's packed. But it's got to be great for you guys to have Comedy Central.
Yeah,
say
man.
This, you know?
I sleep on a couch. This is incredible. It's the best week of my entire life.
Yeah. Now, how did you find out? Did you have to audition for the Comedy Central thing, or they just give you a call?
I auditioned, like I said, a month ago, and then they called me like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And invited me officially, but it just kind of like got on their radar at some point, and then they asked me to audition.
Yeah, man. I auditioned in LA like 6 weeks ago, and I thought I didn't get it because I was wearing shorts.
Right, that'll do it.
Yeah, I thought it was a different show. I thought it was like a regular show, so it was like camouflage shorts. And then they were like, "Oh, this is a Comedy Central audition." And I was like, "They're not gonna fuck with me." And then about like 2 weeks ago, my manager was like, "You got it. You can't tell anybody on the internet." But I told like my mom and like some girls.
Yeah,
Right.
I was like, I hope it's okay. I told my parents so they're not ashamed. I still live with half of them.
Right. Like there's girls who think I had like a half hour, which is they'll figure it out at some point.
Well, that's the funniest thing about comedy too, because it is this long trek, and then when something gets hot, it gets fucking white hot. You know what I mean? Like,
are we hot?
Yeah. Well, when it starts to happen. And you've seen it happen for different people. Like, Kevin Hart for years was just driving around doing these really scary one-nighters everywhere between Philly and Atlantic City.
Lil Kev.
Yeah, and now I think he just sold out the state of Wyoming. They put a fence around it. They brought him in. And then the thing about Kevin, he's like, I want more.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like this is enough for me.
He wants the Dakotas.
But, Amy Schumer just blew up that way. It wasn't that long ago with her. Bill Burr.
But they've all been in the game for so long.
Right.
You know?
But so long that they could have said, well, this isn't working. I quit.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Right.
I'm quitting this.
Yeah.
And that's what I think happens to some guys. Some guys quit.
You quit or you get distracted by just like regular life. Like you're just like,
you get like a real job or something, or like health insurance, and you're like, I got like.
Or you get oops, I had a kid, and now I got to raise it,
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's all the aspiring comedians
Thank you
out
for
there.
Pulling that out. That's a choice as well.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, that's a choice too. So to get recognition is always great.
Yeah, it's great because I don't have any management or representation, and I live in Cleveland, so like, to get noticed by Comedy Central and get invited to do the New York Comedy Fest is like really cool.
But you're basically the mayor of Cleveland.
I run I feel like Mike Polk is like the king of Cleveland comedy, but like I definitely I'll take like the title of Archduke of Comedy in the Midwest.
Archduke.
But I do a lot of my own shows there called Accidental Comedy, and then just work at the clubs, and when I work with people, just like take them around because Cleveland sucks if you don't go do anything. But if you're willing to go around, it's a pretty dope city. You know?
Well, it is, and most cities are that way. You know what I mean? Most cities, like, if you know where the local joints are, there's great food. If you know where the local bars are, it's fun. But when you just show up in a city and you don't know, you end up eating the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Waffle bar, though.
Yeah. Waffle bar.
I kill that Super 8 Waffle bar, man. Like, if you ever want a tour of the Super 8, I like anyone. I got it. Chocolate chips, this whole system.
That's really funny, man. There really should be stand-ups doing those commercials.
I stay in Super 8s. Like, it's not families. It's like me and 6 dirty dudes. Like, that's their clientele.
It is funny how they now all have these hot bars that you sit and, there's a toaster on there. There's a waffle iron.
Yeah.
You don't want to get there late, though, because it looks so bad after it leaves the plate. You know what I mean?
That's always me. Just as they're cleaning everything up, and then you're just getting around like, is there coffee left at least?
The way you got to hit it early and then go back to sleep. That's how I do it.
Yeah, and then set your alarm and wake back up.
Yeah, for a checkout. You know what I mean? So like you go in at 7, you eat all the sausage and shit, and then you go to sleep. Check out 4 hours later.
I was not too long ago. I was at Hamptons and I saw a guy, and I'm out in the parking lot and I'm having a smoke, and the doors kick open and a guy's running with 2 giant filled plates, and they were chasing him. He had just went in there, fucking loaded up.
Oh man, what a hero!
Yeah, and I'm like thinking to myself, that's a hungry guy. What's the big deal? He didn't steal diamonds.
Yeah, you were giving it away for free anyway.
Yeah.
I think let that one slide.
Yeah.
I feel like he probably should have taken like bags so he could. It's hard to run when you're juggling stuff.
It was hysterical because he was taking those little stupid steps. Like when it was like he was running with an aquarium.
Full of breakfast links.
Yeah. So, Alan, are you guys doing anything else this week here in the city? Or
I'm in town till December 2nd, so like I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but I'll be open for James Adomian at the Creek in the Cave tonight as part of the festival. And then a bunch of other stuff. They're all on my site, blazerramon.com.
Adomian is funny because now he just caught this other wave with this Bernie Sanders.
But he's been impersonating Bernie Sanders for years.
Has he really?
Yeah.
And no one's just catching on to it now?
Catching on to it now, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
I always like people who do. First of all, if you can do any impressions, you're lucky as hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like a lucky thing to have to throw in. You don't want to be a straight impressionist, but if you can throw it out every once in a while during a rough night, it's the best thing in the world. But I always love the guys who do somebody that no one else does an impression of. And Adomian's shit is fucking nuts.
He does he did a show with me in Cleveland, and this artist Alex Kelly, he does these amazing sketches, and he did a poster with it's Adomian in the middle and then like all of the characters he's voiced on various podcasts.
Yeah.
It's an amazing piece. It's really cool.
I opened for Adomian once in like Seattle, and my mom came and she didn't know any of the references. She was like, he's very talented, but I don't know what he's talking about.
I guess that's a good impression. But
yeah, he's committed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, he's committed.
Where's your mom live?
My mom my parents live in Norway.
Is that right?
Swear to God, yeah.
Was there a reason behind that, or military?
You know, the feds were coming.
Yeah.
No, my stepdad. My parents are both foreigners, but my stepdad's from Norway, and they just went there, so they're doing that. But at the time, she lived in Seattle.
That's so wild, man, to have your parents living in Norway.
It's cool. I can kind of do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's like mom's not coming home. I'm just out here doing weird drugs. Nobody's going to tell on me. It's like pretty okay.
Yeah. Have you gone over there to visit and hang out though?
No, but I might be going over in like January to visit.
Is that where Little Steven shoots his gangster show?
Lilyhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing is amazing.
My stepdad loves that show.
Yeah. Well, he says like 80% of Norway watches the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, it's like so gigantic there.
I went there once when I was 12. It's like really nice. They're so boring, but in the best way.
Right.
Like no black pepper or anything.
Right.
No black.
No black. No black. I was holding it down.
Yeah.
It was like me.
You were signing autographs.
Yeah, it was like
just for
me
being
and
a
some
black
political
dude.
refugees, and that's like it. It was cool. Because you can tell them whoever you want.
Yeah.
I'm LeBron James in Norway.
Or Bill Cosby by accident.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hey.
It depends on the time of night. you know?
Yeah.
David Bory and Ramon Rivas II are in studio. On Twitter for David Bory, it's at the G is silent. Ramon Rivas II. He's opening for James Adomian tonight at the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City. Go to creeklic.com for tickets and go to accidentalcomedy.com to find all of Ramon's dates in Cleveland.
And just your Cleveland dates. You stay in Cleveland most of the time?
I come out to New York probably like 4 to 7 times a year. I go to Chicago like 4 to 6 times a year. last year I went to LA once to try to go. Like, I'd rather, like, I don't want to drive like 15 hours to do a one-nighter in Idaho and then like hope to sell merch to break even. You know, like I'd rather put that energy into like building up the city of Cleveland scene and kind of like helping other people do comedy.
I think it's always amazing too, is like, it really does take a scene no matter where you are, right? You got to get that thing going.
Yeah, because you can't practice in front of nobody. Like, you have to have an audience. So you need, like, one of my early trips to Chicago, I saw comedy happening like back rooms at sex shops and like rock venues, and I was like, oh, this can happen kind of anywhere. So when I went back to Cleveland, I started and failed like 12 different rooms, but then eventually found a little space that it like worked and functioned very highly. And like back in 2011, I had like Hannibal, Amy Schumer, Todd Barry, Nikki Glaser all came through and did this little bar room in Cleveland, just because I was like, well, the clubs weren't bringing them to town, so I'm like, well,
right,
I have this room. Will you come? And they did. And kind of flowed from there. And
the entrepreneurism to that type of thing, like, there's very rare that the performer can, in most art forms, work out and be on both sides of that. But with comedy, it should happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helpful because, you know, if I walk into a situation where I got hired to do a show and like there's no lights or the room is set up messed up, I can be like, hey, you need to move this light here, you need to turn off the TVs, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Do they listen to you when you do that?
Yeah, because I've found most places who try comedy don't know what they're doing. So if you sound like you know what you're doing, they're like, oh, okay.
Because I stay crying about TVs.
Yeah, is that right?
Oh, man. Well, I do. He does like cool. I do like your NA meeting in Tuscaloosa. I'm there doing a 7. You know what I mean? I do like dirty rooms.
The NA meeting. It's always interesting. Well, I don't want to bring up any meeting, but there's always someone there still with the nods. Like, I've never been to an NA meeting that somebody has it. Like, are you sure?
Yeah, if you're trying to party, there's still like a guy.
You should not have the nods anymore if you got in a white chip. But
I started running shows so that I could host, so that I could perform more, because there was in Cleveland, there was one weekly open mic that my buddy Jim Tooze ran, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, like, if I wanted to perform, like, I had to make shit happen on its own, you know?
Well, there was a guy years ago, and he's still performing in Florida, G. David Howard, who did the same thing, but he would go up himself and do 4 hours a night.
No.
Every night. And he's been doing it for 40 plus years. And there wasn't any comedy thing in. And he's really been able to maintain that with his room, raised a family, bought a house without really ever, doing the Tonight Show or whatever was big at the time. Like, there's so many ways to skin a cat, you know?
4 hours.
4 hours. Here's the thing that
like
he could
riffing.
Yeah, riffing, and he had this. We were talking about having the impersonation gift. He had the gift that if he ever did crowd work and he talked to you, if you came back into that club 6 months later, 2 months later, and you came in through the door, he'd go like this: "Hey, Ricky, how's everything going with the cleaning business?" Like, he had that kind of mind.
I've opened for Russell Peters. He has that same.
He can pull that off too.
He's just. It's crazy, but he doesn't do drugs, so
right.
that probably helps a lot.
Wait, does that other guy do drugs?
No. But that's one of those things that you could turn into something else, because he would do the thing at the end of the night, and there would be 300 people to the show. He would go, and then somebody would come in late because it would be a 4-hour show. He would go and introduce them to everybody was in the room, and we get fucking funnier and funnier and funnier. Chris, we got to grab him on the phone sometime. Have you ever talked to his people?
I emailed them. I'm working on a date.
That'd be funny to talk to him. I think he's been doing it for 40 plus years. I remember one time he was working the room, and a guy got pissed off, jumped on the stage, and broke his leg, and he just fucking propped his leg up, did 2 more hours before he went to the hospital. Because he was tied in with the barbell.
You gotta hit that minimum, man.
So they gotta get these drinks on them. I need that percentage.
Crowd work is like a special kind of genius, man. That's like, it's so cool to see.
Jay Ogerson's a beast at it.
Yeah. That guy's incredible.
Well, he's got this show next week, too, that he's doing at the Bottom Line, and they sent it to NBCU. What's the name?
Oh,
What's
the
your fucking deal at the
Yeah.
bitter end.
And he's got a lot of other comics to come in and do their version of that. But yeah, see, it's tough to get booked at places when you do that because if you send them a tape, they're like, okay, what are you going to do if there's not two twins sitting in the front row? You know what I mean? They would rather hear material.
Yeah.
But when it's done right, when it's done poorly, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh man.
But when it's done right, it's great.
I don't think you can capture it on video either. Like that's like a special magic. You know what I mean? That's like only for the people in that room at that time.
Right.
It's never going to happen again. That's why it's so amazing.
But I think that's even really true of stand-up
in
comedy.
general.
For sure, you got to see it live. There's so many people.
You
that,
miss you don't get the charisma and the way the comic like rides the energy of the room because like a lot of time the crowd's not mic'd exactly properly, so it's like either too sweet or too.
And I think you feed off each other too. Like if the energy in the room is up, it might be a different experience sitting at home watching that same thing. you
Dude,
know?
I wonder why like no one's ever done like a scientific study of what makes a good room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where, if you knew where to put the right people every night, because there's some people who won't laugh until they hear other people laughing.
very true.
They're
for sure.
They're scared. And when they put those people in the front row, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want anybody in the front tables that are saying, I hope no one brings up my name.
Yeah, they got to be able to take it. Because sometimes, you'll see those people where, because I sometimes say like wild shit.
Yeah.
And you'll see everybody like look around and then nobody wants to like break the seal on that. You need like that one brave guy to be like, yeah, man, where are the black people with Down syndrome or whatever. whatever it is.
All right, that just entered my mind, and I can't fucking. I'm switching, trying to find a spot.
There are none.
Yeah.
I Googled it. There's like a black person. There's like one black guy, and I think it's just a real ugly dude. Yeah. And then one Asian guy, and then a picture of a rapper. That's what comes up.
That's what comes up.
That's what comes up. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm now think I've never met.
No, you haven't.
That's crazy.
That's
really
what I said.
Yeah.
But people get mad about it sometimes.
They get angry.
And I'm like, I'm not making fun of people with Down syndrome. I'm just saying that's like a crazy thing. That's crazy.
All right, now we got to go through Asians. Have you ever run into an Asian with Down syndrome? I'm getting
I've
nervous.
definitely seen some.
Yeah.
I feel like
couldn't
that
tell.
I have seen.
Jesus.
See, that crossed the line. That crossed the line. I thought, what do you mean a Mongolian? You're like, oh, you. Yeah.
That's the funniest thing I've heard. I haven't seen any Asians really. I've seen every other race. It's only black people I've never seen. I don't know.
It feels like it's mainly white people.
Yeah, I think it's mostly white people.
Yeah.
Which is some kind of weird penance.
It might
for
be.
evil time.
It might be like a reaction to the sun. The sun only fucks with white people too.
I don't think Down syndrome is a sun situation.
It's caused by sun. It's definitely
we could
caused
end
by
up
sun.
winning a Nobel Prize
know
if
it
we
right
figured
now.
out.
I think we might be sniffing around it.
If you have like an umbrella, you could not get Down syndrome. I remember when I was in elementary school that we had this like one class, and the kids, like, you don't even see people this.
Yeah, they put them in a shorter bus in a different class.
But these people like really had serious problems, like physical, and like they were always going on bus trips, and then we would come back in 6th grade and we would bitch to our fucking teacher, like they get to go everywhere, and we're sitting here. He just starts screaming at us, right? Like, what is wrong with you? You have your health, and you're just. And I remember I went like this. But still, and this fucking guy was so mad that I said, "But still,
They do get all those good trips.
They go out a lot.
They got
a lot.
You know, I think it evens out because you had sex.
Yes,
you know,
that doesn't stop. When I was in high school, there's a special needs kid that he got caught going down on another special needs kid in the elevator.
Whoa!
And then he didn't get kicked out of school because they didn't want to like make it a thing,
right?
And then like at prom, he kept trying to go down on his date on the dance floor.
Whoa!
And the chaperone's like, you can't do that here. So he went to the table and tried to do it there because it wasn't there. It was somewhere else. It was, but you can't say anything.
Now, was he not doing hand stuff because I don't know the term, weird hands?
I think weird hands is a term.
Yeah, I think that, because like you just going down. That's such a bold on a
just
dance
lifting
floor.
up her dress and just going.
I'm gonna just say that.
Oh my god!
I would just say that dude is unbelievably cool.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he
had mad swagger for a little.
Yeah.
little
I feel
special
like
needs.
maybe he didn't even have maybe he just had a big forehead. And he's like, here's my hand. I'm just gonna go down on these girls.
He'd look like a human version of the cartoon Arthur. So he was a little
Wow.
Like a aardvark,
yeah, and he had a little rat tail. It was cool.
That's really cool. I'm so impressed.
David Bory and Ramon Rivas II are in studio.
What are you saying now?
Yeah. And they were part of the Comedy Central's Comics to Watch showcase during the New York Comedy Festival. On Twitter, David's Twitter is @TheG_is_silent. Ramon Rivas II is @BlazeRamon. And Ramon is going to be at the Creek in the Cave tonight, opening for James Adomian, and go to accidentalcomedy.com for all of his Cleveland dates.
Who have some decent comics been picked for this? Like
in years past,
Yeah.
The big alumni are Michael Che. In 2012, it was like Michael Che, Kurt Braunohler,
Emily Heller,
Lisa Traeger. Like 60% of the people have gone on to like half-hour specials,
right?
And then a lot of people have gone on to do other things. So, but then some people haven't done anything. I don't know who those people are.
They had a kid.
Yeah,
they're going down on dance floors.
Yeah, going down on the dance floor. It's a fucking amazing story. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
I know. I definitely want to hang out with that guy.
Yeah, man.
You know, because you can get him to do all kinds of crazy shit. If that's where we're starting at the prom,
that's a teenage move.
Fonzie didn't try to pull that shit off.
No, you don't even know moves then.
Well, I feel like a regular person knows you can't even try that.
Or is that just us fucking putting up a wall?
It is a
around
social
ourselves?
construct. You can go down on your date on any dance.
You can go down anywhere.
Yeah.
See, that's the weird thing that you brought it up. It's a social construct. There's no reason some of these things. It's like I always think of that when abuse victims let it stay in their head, because I got beat up a lot when I was a kid. Yeah. But if someone would have grabbed my balls, am I going to be upset about it now? You know what I mean? Like I don't sit around going, "Oh, I got punched in the nose by an older kid." You just like, well, it's something that happens.
I got beat up that day.
But if the same kid cupped your balls, you're going to be fucking crying about it when you're a man. You know, it always gets like for some reason we let some things bother us more than others.
Yeah,
Not that I'm coming out for molesting kids. I just want to point that out. But I wish there was a way not to make the victims hold on to it.
Well,
so
I think
heavy.
it's like we also impose that on them.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Like that's
oh my God,
supposed to
that
be a
happened
huge
to
thing.
you.
Right, like I feel
And,
so
like,
bad.
Yeah, and I think that's a really dangerous thing when you talk about children who are, survivors of stuff like that.
Right.
Because then you're saying, like, you're ruined. Like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Well, they'll actually say this: it's worse for a boy. Have you ever heard people say that?
It's
I've
so
heard
worse.
that boy. Yeah, I've heard that. But I think also with that sex stuff, I think kids are so confusing.
Right.
I think that's what fucks you up. Like you get punched in the face, you knew that was a thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You have to like some dude pulls your thing, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did I do that?
Yeah. Like I just remembered like some not sexual abuse, but like a weird sex thing that happened to me when I was a kid. And then I was like, it didn't fuck me up at all, but I definitely buried it until like a month ago.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. Popped out?
I was just no. It was just one time I saw this dog lick this kid's butthole and balls. And I just like,
well,
okay.
Hey,
maybe this.
Hey, I'm fucked up, man. All right, laugh in my face.
I like that you didn't have a problem with the dude's butt being out, but
that was the weirdest part.
Yeah,
because then I saw it and I remember thinking like I was like fucked up about it for a while, but then like a month ago I was smoking weed and I was just like, whoa, I saw that one time.
Right.
Like, yeah.
It'll do that to you, though. You know what I mean? Like it'll bring back the stuff that you're trying to shove down as far as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You know?
Like bestiality.
But maybe a lot of people don't bring this up because their friends will just start laughing real hard as soon as it happens.
Maybe. I thought this was a safe space.
It felt like it for a little while.
Yeah, and then you laughed in my fucking face.
I tried to cover my mouth.
So, did you just walk up on this? Were you just?
We were at these kids' house, and there's like, there's like these like middle class like white kids with like bad parents, but they got money.
Yeah.
So like we were at one of these kids' house, and like the little boy was super weird, and he was like openly gay, but we were like 10.
Right.
And then he was like, hey guys, come here. And we walked around the corner and just like, bam, like he was going down. And then like his sister was like, quit doing that. I told you to quit fucking doing that. So I guess he did that like
all
a
the
lot.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird though, man.
But I did remember that there would be some of those fucking kids, you'd go over their house and it would be like
freaks.
It would
Freaks
just,
in there.
yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck goes on here?
Yeah, like no parents, and it was
Yeah.
like Lord of the Flies shit. Dude.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of houses like that.
Yeah, my dad's mom had 17 kids, so like he tells me stories of like the way they were raised, and like he said one time my grandpa like went to hit my uncle, but he accidentally grabbed the neighbor kid and was hitting him, and then he realized then he realized it and hit him again and was like, go home, and then hit the right kid. But,
And like now, he would have went to jail.
Yeah.
Like there wouldn't have been any
yeah.
fucking around. No,
Slap.
like, oh, I thought it was my kid. But if you had 17 kids in your family, it's like living at school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just is fucking packed.
You're talking about your own family. They're like, some of them are okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the odds on that,
Yeah.
right? You have to hate.
some of
Yeah,
them,
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I know most of them, but like,
But I know there's Catholic families like that too. And like when the kids, they all have like one kid at the most after that. Like none
Really?
of them go, oh, I want a big family. They went just the opposite. But what's always funny is to see a guy who had a bunch of brothers. If you ever see Jimmy Schubert eat, he puts his arm around his plate. It's
Like
just a
prison?
double.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a prison thing because he thinks one of his brothers is going to come by and grab a biscuit.
It's mine.
He just eats as fast as he can. We're like, we're out at a nice restaurant. Slow it down, Jimmy.
He's excited.
Yeah, he just doesn't want a brother to come by, grab a pork chop, and keep moving.
I mean, I don't want that either, but
Yeah.
I get it.
It wouldn't occur to me. There
Yeah.
was enough to go around with 4.
yeah.
Is that so? When you have that many kids, is it like was he going hungry, or is his brother
No, I
just like
think
kind of a
there's-
motherfucker?
I mean, I don't think there was a lot of leftover food. You know what I
Right,
mean? There
right.
wasn't like, we better eat this because you can't even keep up when you have a big family. You know what I mean?
Right, 17 kids. How do?
Yeah.
What is that? What is one?
Powdered milk must fucking play into that.
Yeah,
shit,
it's gonna
you
be
know?
pancakes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hispanics, a lot of rice.
like so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Like,
Beans.
Chicken, like they said my grandma used to just chop chickens heads off that they raise in the backyard. And just,
Really?
make
Okay.
them.
Well, you're getting chicken pieces in the rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they moved from like Puerto Rico to Lorain, Ohio, like 3 times back and forth with like 11 kids.
Yeah.
At one point, which sounds insane. Like, I couldn't imagine that.
Do you
think they
speak
ever left
Spanish?
any?
No, I don't speak Spanish and I don't like Mexican food.
You know what's weird? You see that little white kid over there?
Hey.
Born in Puerto Rico
Yeah.
Really?
and raised in Minnesota.
Yep.
And you wouldn't even know it.
So he's like a Univision Latino.
Yeah, I'm like an Univision.
Nice.
Now your mom is
She's she's full Puerto Rican.
she's
My
full
dad's
Puerto
white.
Rican.
Yeah.
But your dad must have the strongest white blood known to man.
Yeah.
Or maybe Minnesota did it as well.
Yeah,
the cold winters.
Yeah.
Well, here's
adapting.
the thing. My oldest brother looks the most white. I'm the middle. I look a little bit more Puerto Rican. My little brother looks like a little Puerto Rican kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your mom might have went out and fucked a Puerto Rican.
It's true.
You know, she might have missed it as the years went by.
I wasn't around a lot when I was 4.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
You ever watch those periscopes from Puerto Rico? They're always dancing. There'll just be something. It looks like it's
The rhythm got him.
yeah, but
gonna get 'em.
but it's not even like they're in clubs. You'll just see this fucking house and just people are just dancing.
Yeah, they love to dance, and they also love spoons. I've never seen a Puerto Rican use
Like-
a fork before.
Like just to eat, they love
Yeah.
spoons.
Like all my family in Puerto Rico, they're like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna have food," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool. Give me a fork," and they hand me a spoon.
You know what?
They're like,
That,
get the
that-
spoons.
That's
Yeah.
more prison, I think, than Puerto Rico.
Were you in prison?
Well, their windows were really small. You couldn't get out of them. Maybe
What part of Puerto Rico is your family from?
they're from a village called Moca, which is close. It's on the western part of the island near a town called Aguadilla, which is
I've
like a
been to
resort
Aguadilla.
town. Yeah.
It's the most beautiful place I've ever been in my
Beautiful
life.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more inland, more towards the rainforest, farmland.
Yeah, it's the water, the beach, mountain, rainforest all together. It's like stunning.
So beautiful.
I just realized I don't know where Puerto Rico is.
It's way down there,
Like-
man. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
I
gun to
remember-
my head.
Yeah, I flew out of Miami, and I'm like, after like hours, I'm like, Did we fucking miss Puerto Rico?
Is it Caribbean?
Yeah, it's way down
deep
there. though.
Caribbean?
Yeah.
It's like Cuba if you keep going southeast.
Southeast. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's way out in the middle of the
It's
ocean.
in the ocean, yeah.
Okay.
It's all the way there.
Now, what's the story with them and the Dominicans too? Are they close?
I think they're rivals.
Aren't they
or
both?
something?
They don't like each other.
Provinces of America, or what are the
I don't know.
territories or U.S. territories?
The protectorates, right?
The Dominicans and Puerto Ricans do not like each other.
Dominicans split an island with Haiti, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's Hispaniola.
Yeah. And then the Dominican, and is that just in New York that they don't like each other? Or
I
even
feel like they try to because I'm half Puerto Rican and half Mexican, and people are like, "Oh, that sounds like a terrible combination."
Yeah.
And it's
People say that to you?
Yeah.
That is
and
terrible.
it's like, well, yeah, my parents are divorced, but like, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But it's just like, I mean, we all make dope rice, so we should.
Yeah, I
bond
bet.
over that.
You were just down in Mexico and thought it was the most beautiful place.
Yeah, it's stunning. I was on the West Coast, near Puerto Vallarta, and that's the same thing. It's like the East Coast, I think, of Mexico. It's it's more
Texas?
touristy. No, like more touristy.
Yeah.
You have like the white sand beaches and like that really kind of Caribbean color water.
Right.
But on the West Coast, it's like. Yeah, mountains, like rainforest, jungle, and then like big crashy, like ocean waves.
Right,
Like, I
giant
think it's
waves.
really beautiful over there. It's like, it's like that kind of South Pacific look about it.
Right. And now we're going to not be able to go there because there's going to be a giant fucking wall that Trump built.
Yeah.
God damn it. Goddamn walls.
Just trying
man.
to keep me out.
Keep me out of Mexico. That's his whole
Well,
point.
I'll get to go to Mexico, but
But you'll never
no
get
one
to
else.
come back.
Hopefully, Mexico. He sounds maybe like campy.
Yeah.
I think I went to Mexico once, and it was like one of the best times I did it like a total tourist, though. It was like a destination wedding, but it was like free booze. It was one of the best times I ever had in my life.
Well, that'll make it a best time.
Yeah, I was drunk at the wedding, kind of.
I remember going with I was visiting my grandpa in Arizona, and we went to like just into Mexico to like shop, and everyone looked real dirty, and we bought something, but this chick pulled out like the biggest wad of money from her dirty fanny pack and just broke off some change.
What is that? When I was in Sierra Leone for a while, and there would just be dudes on the street, and they would try to change money, and they would have the fattest wads of money.
Well, what they do
like
is they trick
rap
you.
video money.
They trick you.
stacks.
They're like, "Oh, here, blah blah blah," and they just take more of your money than they're giving you.
Oh, because they do it real fast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I was going to say gypsy style, but, that's probably racist now. You can't
I
say
think
that.
we've already gone pretty deep with the
I feel like
Down
gypsy's a
syndrome
lifestyle.
stuff. We can say whatever.
really, we've broken down every wall we need.
Yeah, that's how we heal.
Yeah.
And that's how comedy works. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
get offended by anything, man.
Well, I think once you get to nuns' vaginas, I think at that point people are like, hey, come on.
Yeah, people don't like religious stuff. I've found that's
Yeah.
what people get. Like I had this joke where I would talk about how like if you knew God, like, if that God was just like your friend as a dude, he would suck. Like, because you're always gotta like pray to him and thank him for everything. And if it was just like Greg, you'd be like, "Fuck you, Greg." And like I did it in Oakland, and these guys were like, "You gotta get out of here."
Yeah, you can't stay.
Like you can't. We're not. Yeah. What is that? I don't care about God really. I don't know. Smite me.
They do in Oakland.
Man, black people love God.
Yeah.
They hate the devil too.
They believe in a physical devil. They think it's a guy.
It's just a dude.
Yeah. It's literally a guy, like a bad Bond villain.
Yeah.
I think it's Trump. I think that's our devil.
And he gets referenced a lot. Like, he gets blamed for a lot of stuff.
The devil.
Like, I have a friend who will, he'll spill something, and he's like, that's the devil right there. And I'm like,
really?
I think you just spilled that. I
But
think
if it's
that's what just
cold, it's like,
happened.
oh, the devil's in the house.
It's just a chill.
Yeah, no, it's the devil.
Well, we've worked it out through science.
Yeah, it's devil science.
Yeah. Religion is an amazing thing, though, because it really did exist places where no one else had, that people didn't interact. Like when you got to Tahiti and they weren't interacting. They were like, oh no, we live after we die. You know what I mean? Like people just on a cellular level want to think that there's some better place that you go when you
Of course, because this isn't that great, right? I mean, this is great right now. But like,
Oh, good. Right now.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
I'm
like,
having this is
Jesus.
like the best day I've ever had. But like, on the whole, it's not that. I get it, man. Because even rich people, like, I was looking at these pictures of the Rothschilds, like a leaked party that they had. And that's all religious. Like, they're wearing deer heads and antlers and shit. Everybody believes in religion of some sort, right?
Some kind of whatever it is.
Some weird thing. to like make them not get sick or fuck better or whatever it is.
Fuck better.
Right? You can pray to God to fuck better, right?
I wouldn't.
What if your marriage is failing? That's a confident man. My stroke don't need no God.
Yeah, seriously. It could get dangerous for other people.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you want to do a plug? And then,
I'd love to do a plug.
Now, do your plug, but then I really want you to think of what the afterlife would be for you.
Okay. There'd be no more jets, just sharks.
David Bory and Ramon Rivas II are in studio. They're part of the Comedy Central's Comics to Watch showcase during the New York Comedy Festival. On Twitter, you can follow David Bory at the G is silent. Ramon Rivas II, it's at Blazer Ramon. He's opening for James Adomian tonight at the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City. Go to creeklic.com for tickets. And you can go to accidentalcomedy.com to find all of Ramon's dates in Cleveland. And you can watch the documentary Ramon produced, Make Fun Movie, at makefunmovie.com and on YouTube.
Ramon's got a million things going on, man.
Yeah, man. I
feel so bad. They're like, this dude's got a Twitter.
I've just been gently hustling, doing stuff, man.
Gently hustling. Yeah, not pushing it too hard.
Not pushing it too hard. But like the Make Fun movies it's a documentary Jim Two's made about the Cleveland comedy scene. So it's like what it's like to pursue an artistic passion in a non-major city. Like, because a lot of people, like when I'm like, oh, I'm from Cleveland, you can just see like their blinders go down, like, I'm done talking to you. And then they see me go up and they're like, oh, you're from Cleveland? Like, why do you live? And then it's just like, oh, it's, I feel like, it feels like a draft class when someone goes and does well. It like goes back to the school. That's what
Do a lot of people come back to Cleveland? Like Curtis Cook is from Cleveland.
Curtis
right?
Cook is from Cleveland.
Does he ever come back?
He comes back for my comedy festival. I do Accidental Comedy Fest in the fall usually, but no. But yeah, most people when they leave, they don't come back.
Right, but they love it as a base, right? Like
it's a great.
Love being from Cleveland.
Yeah,
they wear a badge of honor.
It's definitely a city that never leaves you. Like if you grew up there, you have an affinity for it in some way, shape, or form. Which is cool.
Good food comes out of Cleveland.
Oh, amazing food. Like the Cleveland's food scene is so good. Like by the Comedy Club Hilarities, there's like a couple restaurants that are like Iron Chef owned. And then there's a dude who has a very successful restaurant that he didn't even win Iron Chef. He was just on it, but people were just like so proud of him. They're like, yeah, we'll go to your restaurant.
Yeah.
So, good.
Well, you know what? I think one of the problems with Cleveland too is that sports scene has been so heartbreaking. Every sport, no matter which one that you're looking at, and that's why, like the rest of us, can't understand how someone could love a player as much as they love LeBron, and what, like to say, like, well, if LeBron wins this, it's going to bring jobs back to Cleveland. You're like, how? It can't fucking happen.
It's
He's
literally
one guy.
like the difference between when the Cavs didn't have him.
Yeah.
And the attendance at like bars downtown and restaurants downtown around games versus when he is on the team is a start. Like every game sold out. All the bars are full of people watching the game and eating and drinking. Like it's definitely a weird to see how he impacts the economy like that directly. But also there was shit going on when he left. Like it's not like the city was just like waiting for him to come back. Like it's definitely, there's a lot of things happening that were already in motion and then he's just helping like tip it.
Wasn't he really? He's really active in the community there too, even when he was gone, right?
Yeah, he grew up in Akron, which was like 45 minutes south of Cleveland, so like super duper present there, and then like still does a lot of things in Cleveland, but we haven't hung out.
Yeah,
yet.
It's always I think is Boom Boom Mancini from Cleveland. There was always a good boxing scene in Cleveland.
Youngstown.
Youngstown is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, Youngstown had a lot of fighters. There's still a gym in Cleveland, but it's not like I don't think anyone's like crushing it.
There's always
no. There is a dude, Sean. I want to say Sean Porter. That's not right. Sean something. He's crushing it. He's got some belts right now.
Yeah, there was always a thing about those fighters of they would take more punches than they gave out. Like there was a respect for those fighters that came out of that area that you could just hit me and I'm still coming.
Just take it in the brain.
Just still coming.
Yeah, resilient Midwest resilience.
How far is Youngstown from Cleveland?
About 40 minutes.
Yeah,
it's not too far. Most of the suburbs are like 30-40 minutes because we have like 90. The highway like runs right through Cleveland, so it's like you hop on that and you can in a half hour I can be 40 miles away. We're here in a half hour. I'm like a mile.
$6.
So, Chris, what's your afterlife?
All right, I always had the idea of like, all right, so you're in some weird space, but you're like, you can look into the reality Earth, like you're in the afterlife, right? But and then you can like basically it's like Google Maps, and this I thought of this before Google Maps ever happened.
I don't believe you. Seriously, I don't believe that you thought of Google Maps before it
I
happened.
swear to God, and then you can zoom in and see anything you want happening on the Earth.
Why would you though?
Naked
Yeah, what
ladies,
would be
come
the-
on. That's
Why
what
would you
this
be
is.
given this power?
Because that's just what happens when you die.
Because you're a fucking voyeur more than anything else.
So this is just a voyeur's fucking afterlife. That's it.
By the way, dude, I don't know if we'll ever get over that Sharks and Jets joke.
It's a good look.
You guys have got to see this doc, and I think it was Doug Stanhope is the one who put it out there. It's called The Rubble Kings, of the fucking gangs that were in New York, in the Bronx, during like the 70s.
Like what the Warriors is based on.
They're like the Warriors could have been a documentary.
Really?
Yeah. And then the reason that all these people basically, after they stopped shooting and stabbing at each other, they pretty much invented hip hop. At the end of the thing, it just breaks into these massive hip hop shows.
It worked out for everybody.
Yeah, it really did.
Man, it would be so bad to get your ass beat by a dude in like a jean jacket.
I know, man. And
Like,
they
With a shirt on underneath.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got beat up by a guy with a shirt off one time. It sucked. Sucked, dude.
You see his fucking nipples as hard.
Yeah, dude, and it was just like a good torso too.
Yeah, right.
Like, he took his shirt off and I kept my shirt on, and then like you're not gonna win that fight. He took his shirt off. Like it's a fucking power move.
Dude, it was great having you guys stop by.
Thanks for having
I'm a
us.
big fan of Unmasked, so this was like super.
Oh, thanks, man. I hope you stop back in again, man. I hope you can do it.
Thank you.
It was
Heck
real
yeah,
great,
man.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Congratulations for getting this, acknowledgement for Comedy Central.
Thank
That's
you.
really cool.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Gail.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. This is Bennington. You need to know how to cook. Cooking at home means eating healthier and saving money instead of ordering expensive takeout. But where do you start? Well, Blue Apron has you covered. For less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron delivers all fresh ingredients you need to create home-cooked meals. Just follow the easy step-by-step instructions. Each meal can be prepared 40 minutes or less. No overwhelming trips to the grocery store. No more sad takeout. No matter what your dietary preferences are, Blue Apron makes it a breeze to discover and prepare dishes. What do we got coming up this week, Gail?
So coming up this week, we have roast pork braised endive with green apples and endive salad. There's like an Asian chicken soup that looks really good,
That
like a
sounds
curry
fantastic.
soup with
Yeah.
wontons, and then a lentil bolognese, which I'm very excited. Oh, that's for me. You
because
probably
you always pick a
Yes.
vegetarian dish once a week.
Yeah, so that's my vegetarian. Is going to be a lentil bolognese, which I always really luck out. I get a lot of pizzas and a lot of pastas with that.
You're gonna let me know when the pizza comes up because
I will.
normally I'm happy with fish. I don't want to go over and just vegetable it up all night when I can have a nice piece of fish. But because every week you get kind of a meat dish, a chicken dish, and a fantastic fish dish. Now, by the way, you're not going to get anything this good in your supermarket. That's
No way.
why I love the fish because I can't get that unless I went out and caught it myself.
Yeah,
you know?
it's fantastic. And Thursday is when my delivery comes in. So every Thursday morning, like it's a very exciting thing.
Well, this is the thing.
Here.
Yeah, you know that you got your food set up. The beauty of it is preparing the food, making the food is truly one of my favorite stress-reducing things to do. I like to say that I am a Blue Apron top chef or a Blue Apron Iron Chef. I'll take on anybody in the world at these things. And I didn't know how to cook at all before I started doing it.
Now, last week we had the jerk chicken in. The last time we talked about it, you hadn't made it yet.
One of the best things I've ever had.
The sides
The
are
sides
so
are out of
insane
this
on
world.
that dish. It's
But
like,
you know what else the Blue Apron has taught me about food combining, right?
Mm-hmm.
That with like you know how if you just eat regular, you really do think of it as a side. Like I'm gonna eat the meat and I'm gonna eat the side and I'm gonna eat the meat. All the Blue Apron dishes, as no matter how good all of them are, on their own, when you put them together, It explodes. It's just fantastically done.
There was also incredible the pork meatballs with the butter
you finally
lettuce.
made those?
I made those earlier in the week, and they were so good. A sticky rice and like a really great dipping sauce.
First of all, that was, I think, one of the prettiest things I ever made. Where
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, oh,
gorgeous.
this looks exactly the way it's supposed to. But it was really one of the best meals I ever had in my life, and it felt like a very expensive Manhattan meal. Not something I could have made on my own.
Yeah, you're right. It was gorgeous. When we were preparing it, when it came time to start plating it, my man started to just make a giant like burrito out of it. And I was like, no, please stop. Because they're so pretty in the little cups.
I know.
He was just trying to put like 8 of them in giant.
I like what he's thinking, though. I like where he's gone there. And you can watch the game.
Giant sticky rice burrito.
Cook with ingredients you've never used before, like watermelon radishes, farro, and purple potatoes. Perfectly proportioned so you're not wasting food. And recipes between 500 to 700 calories per portion. Delicious and good for you. I've been doing this for over 2 years. Gail, you're coming up on 2 years?
2 years this December, yeah.
And right now, you can get your first 2 meals for free at blueapron.com/rawdog. Here's what you need to do. Just first of all, go over and check out the Blue Apron website. For me, you're going to look at it and go, oh, can I cook this? I'm guaranteeing you that you can cook it.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing you you're going to love cooking these meals. Because I didn't cook at all. I remember the first meals I made, my concentration level was like, you know what I mean? Like it was just really tight and really wanting to be good. And now it's like breezy and fun and relaxed. And I love it.
Yeah.
I just love making these meals.
It makes you better at cooking, and you start to improve all these skills. That
Every single skill.
Even if when you're not like cooking Blue Apron, you've learned so much about techniques. And I mean, my knife skills are so much better than they were before.
Because when you get the exact ingredients set up, you're like a cooking show.
Yeah.
You get it sent to you already divided up, and you're going like this. Oh, now I got this right here. That's the easier part of cooking.
Yes.
Going out and buying it and trying to proportion the right amounts. That's the aggravating part.
Yeah, agreed.
Trust us. Go to blueapron.com/rawdog. That's 2 meals free at blueapron.com/rawdog. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Handsome dancer.
That was Coincidence. You're listening to Bennington. That was Coincidence by Matt Pavich. Matt Pavich and Charles Gould are in studio. They're part of New York's Funniest Stand-Up, which is happening this Sunday, November 15th at 4 p.m. at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. Go to carolines.com for tickets.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Congratulations on this show, too. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
You know, I judged the one last year. They didn't ask me back. I guess I was a little bit of a renegade judge. But I was telling the guys about this before. The amount of talent that they can put up on that stage on 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's amazing to me. Yeah. It's amazing how many great people are out there.
New York City, baby.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. Yeah, the semifinals, man, they could have picked any 5 people. It was insane.
Yeah.
Everybody just and the place is packed out.
Right.
And when that room is packed out, I mean, 7 minutes, you better be able to murder in there.
And that is what happened last year. Is everybody, like, you easily could have picked anybody to win that, but for you guys, it's got to just be a blast to walk into that room like that.
Yeah. It's always. I mean, you always are trying to get to Caroline's.
Yeah,
it's just the best comedy club New York is the best place to do stand up in the world. Mm-hmm. So if it's the best place to do stand up in New York, it's probably the best place to do it in the world.
Yeah, it is. That's an amazing thought when you think about it. And I think in a lot of ways too, having Fallon bring the Tonight Show back to New York is oddly up the stakes now, too. You know,
yeah, I can see that.
It just seems like it's more centralized. Almost every club in town is doing well too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, and I know the Stand just opened.
Yeah.
And that's one of the better ones now, too.
And even New York Comedy Club, Emilio and this guy, Scott, bought it. They were like did a few renovations, but even before the renovations, it's like a hot club now. It's fun to be at.
Yeah, they have fluorescent signs.
They have
now.
a lot of fluorescent signs.
Then you've made it.
Yeah, before they just
but
had
just like the aura and the feeling is like totally different, which is cool because it's the same club, you know. They're just managing it different, I guess, and that's like my home club, I would say. So shout outs to them for putting me up all the time.
Now, I think this would be interesting to people around the country. What does it take for something to be your home club? Is it their decision? Is it your decision?
Yeah, I mean, they took chances on me, I guess. There's so many comics in the city, and to have to rotate in all these people with TV creds and, you know, people that have been doing it longer, I think someone has to have faith in you, which is cool.
Right.
And Emilio takes a lot of pride in like grooming young talent, and he does a lot of late night stuff and like lets people audition, and he's giving people opportunities, and I guess I just took advantage of those opportunities, and it feels like a home. You know, you go in there, you know everybody there, you want a drink, it's on us, blah, blah, blah. It's very like, you know, you actually like the people that you're working with as compared to like being nervous and yeah, it feels good.
Yes, that sounds great. I don't have a home club.
You don't have a home club like that.
So that sounds amazing. Interesting for me as well.
Charles, how long have you been doing?
I've been doing stand-up for about 5.5 years.
So 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And you can't say even yet. I mean, it's an amazing thing when you think about it, is the dedication that it takes to stick with comedy.
Right.
Because there's so many places in New York that a one-nighter here or there, most people don't even hear about. I'm always even amazed how those rooms can get people into
Oh, yeah.
it, you know?
Every day
they don't.
Yeah.
So most of them don't.
And also every day on Facebook or whatever, I get a friend request from some dude, like, or person that I've never seen or met, and there's just doing comedy. There's so many comedians in the city, and there's more and more coming every day. And I guess that's a good thing, but, you know, it's a little discouraging sometimes. We're just like, oh, man, this guy, we have 600 mutual friends. I've never met this guy. How is this possible? It's just going to keep happening.
Right. But that you feel that way until you get over whatever that fucking mystical hump is, you know?
Oh, it's so mystical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see it happen, and the weird thing about it is that it comes in these waves. A lot of guys that start at the same time. Well, it was just a year ago that we brought Joe List in for the same contest. And like what I saw happen to him in a year is fucking insane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know?
He had a great year. That's why I'm so happy to be on this, even in the finals, because I looked at everyone on the finals last year. I was like, I'm going to have a good year.
Right. Everybody in the finals last year. And I'm not sure. I guess we met Joe right before them, but.
Yeah. He was only once before, and then he came back on to talk about the New York's Funniest.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
But he did comedy for 12 years before, or I don't even know how long, but something around 12. So it's like, it's not overnight, you know, for anybody.
It's a very rare thing that somebody comes in and you know, this is the difference in the art form. A little kid can be a great actor. You know what I mean? Like a little kid, you'd be like, that little kid can act. But a little kid can't walk out and just be funny, because you almost have to do something on stage and fuck up for a while and then get back into what originally made you funny in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, almost get back to that thing that made you funny to your kid friends when you were younger. But then you have these skills that keep it going for a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny that you say that, because like that's what Picasso said.
Is that right?
He said it took him his whole life to learn how to paint like a kid again.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting if you think about, like, yeah, we're just trying so hard to be funny as we were when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, because like you go through, when you first start doing comedy, I don't know if you had this experience, but I really wanted to be cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I wanted to be like a cool truth-telling comedian, but then I started learning that's not what I thought was funny about myself before I started doing comedy. That's not what people want from me. People want me to be like a goofball.
Right.
So like I had to like relearn that, and it took like 5.5 years for me to be like, okay, I'm not cool. I'm just like a goofball, and I'm just gonna like go up here and just be like a goofball.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's not just in comedy or movies, like even in music, it's so hard to really like make it or whatever that means anymore,
Right.
because it's so saturated and there's so many platforms. And like, there's anyone can listen to whatever weird alti band and whatever weird alti comic. So like, there's no like, boom, this is the guy.
Right. There
anymore.
used to be that thing that one move could change your life.
Yeah, I don't
you
think
know?
that exists anymore. It's just about getting hot and then staying hot and then keep making. You have to just keep making content, that people like.
Saving your money.
Yeah,
and investing it.
But like in terms of music, there's probably some guy playing at a fucking Holiday Inn in Kansas City who's an unbelievable guitar player.
Yeah,
but that isn't the same thing as writing a great song. You know what I mean? Like, craft is one thing, and you have to have craft.
Right.
And that's what you guys have been working at all this time. But then there's that other thing, that inspirational thing that just breaks through to people.
Well, it seems like those growing pains kind of have to happen with comedy. Like so many comics say that they started to do comedy and they started to pretend to be someone else, or they were emulating somebody that they thought was so great, and then they had to kind of reduce back to what it was about themselves that that made them want to do it. But it does seem like something that has to happen. It's like learning the craft. Like, you have to kind of learn all those rules and then break them.
But think of like anything else, like any other kind of breakthrough is not, let's say if you're working in science, you come into a breakthrough, people are willing to go, wait, let's try to work this out. But in comedy, you have to deliver them something so simple that they should have thought of it themselves. Like the joke that works.
Right.
Everyone in the audience was going like, hey, I've thought that before, even though they haven't.
Yeah.
They just know it's so true that the second that they think it almost like just sets off all these things of, that has always
it's
been
like
true.
a mix of nostalgia and relatability, but you don't want to be a hack. So how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think comedy, you can't fake anything. You have to be genuine.
Yeah.
And like, it takes you a really long time to find out how you are and how you are genuine. But if you're out there and you're like kind of faking it, or you're kind of trying to be someone else, the audience is not going to get on board with you.
Right.
And I think the thing about hack is, it's not that it isn't funny, it's just that it's unoriginal. You know what I mean? So, like, even now, I will see people doing some variation of Louis C.K.'s "My Kid is an Asshole" bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, it happens everywhere now.
Yeah.
But the first time that I saw him do that, I thought, this is the most ridiculous. I think maybe he crossed the line. I remember thinking, you're going to regret that, Louis. You're going to one day your kids will get older and they will tell you you have a bad dad.
But that still could happen.
Yeah.
They haven't grown up yet.
Yeah, they haven't. But so you never really know for sure. But that thing that was so shocking at first, now I hear some variation of that, like even fucking news people.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so common. Like, commercials do that.
Yeah.
Like, kids
suck.
Yeah.
Right.
It's great. We hate them.
Yeah. It's just this accepted truth now.
Yeah.
You know? And the real truth to that thing was, it's just really hard to be a parent. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's really hard not to be selfish when you're a parent.
Yeah.
Also, not everyone should have kids, probably. So
then they shouldn't tie it in with fucking. I think that's the big mistake God made. If there was
like a different thing.
Yeah,
it should.
If there was a button that you could push when sober, you know what I mean? There would be a lot less unwanted kids.
Just a lever somewhere.
Yeah, just a lever.
No.
Both of you do it at the same time. You have to break the glass. You're looking at each other.
But if there's no consequence for fucking, then we're all just going to be fucking all the time, and nothing will get done.
Sounds perfect.
Do you like this radio station? This was built on people not fucking.
It's true. Go ahead, Chris, plug away, because this is important shit here.
Charles Gould and Matt Pavich are in studio. They're part of New York's funniest stand-up show. It's happening this Sunday, November 15th at 4 p.m. at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. Charles Gould is doing the Tips for a Happier, Healthy You show on Comedy Central's Snapchat channel. Follow Comedy Central on Snapchat to view it. And on Twitter, it's at MiddleKidGould. And Matt Pavich, she's going to be on season 2 of Joking Off, which premieres December 16th on MTV2. And on Twitter, it's at Matt Pavich.
Now that show, you guys do what with the joking off?
It is. It's an MTV2 show where they put something on a board, like a big jumbotron on stage, and you have to run in and tell a joke based on there's certain games. Like there's one game, and they have all these wacky haircuts, and you have to go in. Like they show a picture of it, and you have to go in and tell a joke. Like there's that meme thing on the internet, like barber, like what you told the barber to get that haircut.
Right.
So you go in there, you tell a joke, boom, you get a point. The points don't really matter. I mean, someone gets joked off, but it's really just about telling jokes. And it's got a good name.
What was
a lot of fun.
What was the audition? Did you have to jerk off?
I did not have to joke anybody off.
Okay.
We just told, it was the same thing. They just had like a TV, and you could actually play the game like not in the studio, which I think is cool. I've been, they could do like a traveling thing. You just need a TV.
So Charles, here he is. He's got a home club and he's got an MTV2
Yeah, he's
show.
got MTV2 show. Yeah.
You really need to win.
And
here.
he's a lot better looking than me too. For anyone listening.
Yeah. Did you when the first time you guys got up on stage, was that a difficult thing, or?
I had the most atypical first show in comedy. This like manager that was past his prime came up to me in my high school and was like, "Hey kid, you were great in the show."
Yeah.
And I wasn't even in the show. And I was like, I wasn't in the show. And he was like, "Yeah, but you're fun. You look funny. You're making your friends laugh. Come by, do stand up." And I was like, "All right." And it was packed. It was the old Gotham, and it was like 300, like packed. There was not, and it was all agents and like industry people. I was 16, and all the other kids bombed, and like I bombed too, but like I did it with confidence, so people thought I was doing well, and I thought I killed. And then the next day, I got like a Nickelodeon pilot out of it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a comedian." That was that was so easy. How did I? People say this is hard. I read all these books about it being hard. What idiots! Yeah. And then of course the pilot didn't work out, and whatever. But I guess I got the bug, and since then I just been addicted to the smack of comedy.
What about for you?
I mean, I was an actor first, and then I was just not a very good dramatic actor, and I was just always trying to be funny. And then so I was like, why am I like? I would like go to these auditions with all these guys who like looked kind of like me, and were like wearing button-up shirts, and it just like felt wrong. It just like wasn't me. I was like, this just isn't for me. So I just want to be funny. I just kind of want to do my own thing. So I just started doing stand-up. So I went to open mic first, and I would say it was pretty terrible. I probably bombed. And I think everybody bombs a lot for their first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you kind of have to like convince yourself that you're not bombing in some weird way.
Well, I think like bombing when you first start and like bombing with like hope, there are two different things. Because like even I see, I go to mics and stuff, and I go to shows, and I see people like they didn't do well, but you're like, yeah, you should keep going. And there's people that are just like, please, there's no reason. Just get a therapist or something. Just do something different. But not really, because like who knows? Maybe they're the next greatest thing, and I don't know anything about comedy.
Yeah.
But there's like there's a thing. There's like a thing, and I think I can tell the people that have it, but I don't know anything.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of tell when they're just a crazy person, though.
Yeah.
Because that is something that there are people that have no clue whatsoever. And because I had a club in Florida, and guys would come over after it, and they go, "What did you think?" And I'm like, "Well, you were in the fucking room. You know what I mean? you were here with me." And I go, "Did you ever make your friends laugh? I mean, did people tell you that you're funny? I mean, at some point, like, I almost think that people should be pushed on stage by their friends. Like, come on, dude, you've got to do this."
I think the same thing about models. I don't think you should be allowed to try and model. I think you should be hand selected by like 3 gay dudes that just run the modeling world, and they're just like, you got it.
Right. And if you don't have that, whatever that thing to mold is, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, that's still always the thing too about like, do you admire guys that can really work hard and write at it, or do you admire people that are just naturally fucking funny? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough.
Because if you look at Tracy Morgan, I don't think he's ever sat down with a fucking pad and a pen.
No,
you know what I mean?
no. He's just funny. Yeah.
What would I rather be, or what do I admire more?
What do you admire more?
I admire the people that, really work, I want to say, but I might be full of shit. I mean, I think I would rather just be naturally hilarious.
I think so too.
Yes, I think naturally funny is what I would rather be, but I definitely admire the people who can like sit down and write and write and write and write.
I'm not one
like
of those
punch
people.
things out.
I feel like that they should write fucking movie scripts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like monologue jokes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or write for me. How about
Write for Matt Pavich. Open call for
I'll
Matt
just
Pavich
do a lot
writers.
of crazy voices and move my hands a lot, and you write the jokes.
It's really funny though, because when you bring up monologue jokes, that kind of humor is so far away from what a stand-up could do. Like Jimmy Fallon does his fucking act in front of millions of people, but you wouldn't be able to take that 5 minutes and walk into an open mic and do it without people going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It would seem like somebody trying to do a late night, monologue.
But
That's
I
exactly
think
what it would
those
seem.
guys are. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't think what any of those guys do. I think you could change. That you could just take the fucking script for that night and hand it to each guy, and they would each do it the same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's no connection there.
That's the danger,
whatsoever.
though, with a team of writers. Like, I think that you can come up with good jokes, but when you've got one guy performing it, like, you're right. That team of, you could swap those whole teams and they would be able to write with the sensibilities of each of them, because I don't think it would be that different.
But you know what amazes me? If you watch those like weird sitcoms that people think are bad sitcoms, but a lot of people watch it, and just look at it from a writing point of view, that they've got 7 characters that all get jokes at like a 30-second clip, and then it's done at 22 minutes every time. You're like, how fucking hard do they
No,
work
it's
on
impossible.
this shit?
Those shows are so well written, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And like I definitely did not like them until I started doing comedy.
Right.
And then I started doing comedy, and now I like any show that I used to like scoff at and be like, oh, I'm not going to watch that. Now I watch it and I'm like, this is so good.
Well,
I
you
can't
can
believe
respect
how good
something
this is.
without thinking it's funny. Also, you can be like, I can see how people would find that funny. It's not for me. That's incredible. I could never do that, but it's not my cup of tea.
But actually, sometimes now sometimes I like some just like a plain up just joke.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like now, like I like to watch those sitcoms because like I want to see some jokes, you know, and I want to like laugh.
No, absolutely, and that's so far from like my sensibilities and the way that I write, I guess. So I have the utmost. I wish I could do more of that. I wish I could punch myself up, but it's just not. I'm still trying. You know?
I think it's interesting too, like with sitcoms, like there's a formula even to the setup. Like the setup has to be a small laugh because it can't crush like the next thing. Like that's so weird that like there is a formula to making that type of comedy.
Yeah, and then there's the tag that comes from a different character moments later.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's like music. It's like.
Exactly.
And somebody is sitting there just fucking screaming at a staff,
Right. They're having zero fun.
We have 8 hours before we're shooting this.
You could almost probably like graph it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a total formula. It's very strange.
Well, do you ever see that stuff online where they'll pull the laughs off of like Big Bang Theory, and you'll just watch them sitting in dead fucking silence, like suddenly like any connection to real life is gone. I'll tell you the most amazing thing that I was just watching, I guess it was on a DVD thing. It was kind of a bloopers thing for Seinfeld, and fucking Kramer is cock serious about
it's so
everything.
Weird. It's so weird.
You gotta watch it.
What? What do you mean?
If like he's doing his shit and Elaine just starts to break, he'll just be like this. Seriously, come on. I can barely do this. Just keep it together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
There is no, you just go to YouTube.
You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, look it up now.
Ooh,
We'll play around with it. But fucking Kramer is the most serious dude in the world.
I love strange.
Oh my God, I love Kramer.
At one point, I just expect him to just start screaming the N-word and not.
I was so mad when he did that.
But I wonder if that's because he comes like from a physical place or whatever. But he is not playing with his humor whatsoever.
That's great. The title of the video is Michael Richards doesn't like when his co-stars. Oh, Kramer. Michael Richards parentheses Kramer.
George.
Okay, do that again.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Please.
Try.
Please.
Looking at his face and saying it.
All right, let's try
So
it.
hard. Please don't laugh.
Okay, act.
Biff! What happened to you?
You have my spare key in your apartment, right?
Yes, in the kitchen drawer.
You know, the only reason
Oh,
I'm
what?
doing this is because you went with Audrey to the hospital.
Was he late for something all the time?
Yeah, no, really. What is it?
I'm sorry, but it's just that's so funny.
Okay, we're rolling.
Stop now.
Can we do it?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go.
Everyone else is unprofessional to him.
Right. Oh man, that.
You know, the only reason I'm doing this is because you took Audrey to the hospital.
Yeah. Oh boy. Here. Yeah.
Boy, he acts like it hurts him.
What do I need this for?
I'm gonna get a 4x4 and beat you with it.
Now, here's the thing. Do you think that maybe he felt like he had to work himself up to get to do that bit?
Because he has the biggest character.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like biggest in the terms of like the most over the top. Like he probably had to, get somewhere to be Kramer, where for the most part they could pull off of their own sense of humor
Yeah.
to get to who
Jerry
their
was
characters
never acting. I mean, Jerry was phoning it in harder.
He was always in like a permanent smirk.
Permanent
Like, he was-
Always smiling. Yeah.
He all but moved his lips with the other characters. Like, my part's coming.
But Kramer almost seems like he's got somewhere to go, and he's like, "Let's wrap this up. I have lunch with my mom or something." This is.
No, but maybe that is true. Maybe it's just like because he's like trying really. Maybe he's working really, really hard to be that character.
Yeah.
And like anytime every time someone messes up, he kind of like has to go back and work all over again.
Yeah, and people probably broke the most with him because he's so.
Yeah,
he's
so
so funny.
it's physically
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it comes in your.
But there's a scene in this where he's stuffing his mouth with shit and fucking.
Oh, I've seen that.
And Jerry's cracking up, and you could see he's almost killing himself.
Yeah.
Like you're worried that he's going to choke himself at certain points. But I think it's one of the funniest things ever. It seems like he doesn't even like them.
It seems like he doesn't like doing this show.
Yeah, he doesn't like doing it.
it's not fun for him.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because this is like the most successful show ever, and like he should be having a good time.
I know.
Yeah.
As the rest of them are.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
watching her break, it's like contagious. I don't know how he doesn't
No, I know.
laugh because she's just like, she just lights up.
Yeah,
she's like
laughing
adorable.
like that. She's so cute.
Yeah, I know. The way she laughs.
People breaking when you're shooting something too is also like a good thing. If we find it so fun, then I mean, it's not good if you really can't get past it. But
Well, did you ever hear about Rodney when he did Caddyshack? He the first day comes over and he goes, "None of this shit's working." He goes, "You ought to call somebody else." He goes, "I can't buy a laugh out there," and they're like, "Rodney." The crew can't be laughing. The other actors can't be laughing. The people in the audience will laugh later.
Yeah.
He's like, it just isn't working. None of this shit's working. I'm the wrong guy.
I love it.
It's just so fun. He had never done anything but clubs.
It's a terrible room.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm dying out here.
It is kind of weird though.
Yeah.
The first time you're on a set and you're telling a joke that you think is funny and nobody laughs,
Yeah.
you're just so conditioned to like get laughter right afterwards.
Yeah, we're so in our heads and so self-critical that it's just that I was doing these what are those called? Like man in the
Man on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, not Man on the Street. When it's just like talking heads.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like some girl and a camera, and I was just like, is that okay? Is that what that was? Can we run it back? I want to do it. She's like,
One of those I love the 90s type shows. Where
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's like for the internet, and it was really. I was like, I need to get up. I needed to like loosen up. It was intense.
Just watching one other person not laugh.
And they
staring
can't. I mean, they're like
Yeah.
pretend. They're like fake smiling. I'm like, oh, you don't know, because you just came from a night of like real comedy, and
Right.
the thing. It's so different.
Yeah.
That's why even watching stand up like on TV or in video, like it's just so different.
It's strange, right? It's the strangest thing.
People got to come see real shows, people. Go to an actual show.
I always think like one of the worst things that people do with stand-up specials is taking them to theaters. You know what I mean? Because now even the camera's back further, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And they try to show you, oh, look, like here's a close-up of people laughing. But when you're at a fucking real show, you're not looking around like that. It's like you and them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you gotta, if you can sell out a theater, you're not gonna not sell
No,
out
it's
a
true.
theater.
Right.
It's true. But I think it works even worse for TV when it's a theater. Attell did his thing going back to clubs, and then he had that little GoPro camera that he was putting in the audience, and it just felt like it stepped it back up again. It made it a little more immediate again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you
play
can't
all
beat the
those
comedy
games.
club. You can't beat the live, intimate experience.
And I feel like people don't know that. I feel like, I guess real fans do.
Well, here's the thing: when it's bad, there's nothing worse. You know what I mean? So when you, it's a brave act to go to, the fucking Akron Comedy Club and go, I'm going to pay money and sit in here. Nothing to do with money, nothing to do with drinks. Just if that shit doesn't work, you're in the worst possible place ever.
Comedy's like live theater in the same way. It's like if when it hits, it's the best thing. You're like, wow, that was phenomenal. I can't believe what just happened. But when you're out there and it's just like, you just feel yourself shifting in your seat.
I revel in that kind of stuff.
Me too.
though. I don't know if it's because I'm a weirdo, neurotic,
comics always love to see their friends fucking too.
No, not just friends, not even comedy. Like just bad anything to me is so fun.
Really? Okay.
Someone really just even playing a guitar or something and on the street and it's just so bad. I love that shit. I don't know. I guess I'm a horrible human.
I would say so.
No, it sounds like it.
But I like watching my friends bomb. It's really one of my favorite things. Yeah, it's really the best.
You just hear that one laugh in the back and you're like, that's his roommate.
And it's such a different laugh too.
Yeah.
And when you're on stage and you hear that laugh, you're just like, this guy.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, but I like I had a girlfriend ex-girlfriend now, and she would come to my shows and she used to like it when one person bombed. She used to be like, it kind of feels like I'm getting the full experience.
Right.
I liked seeing people doing really well, but I feel like I haven't really seen a real live comedy show unless I've seen someone totally bomb.
Well, when only one person bombs,
When only one person bombs.
really horrific because that guy's like, it isn't the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Girlfriends of comics talking about comedy is an idea for a podcast, or a radio show or something, because they think they get it because they've been with us or whatever,
Right.
and then the things that they say is just no, that's not.
But something, I kind of agree with that. If you go see a live show and you see 6 comedians and you see one person who didn't do that well, that's kind of all part of it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
That's actually she made a valid point, but I've heard so many things. You've never written a joke. You don't understand any of this. I know that you think that you're in the world now, and that's cool, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Matt will never have a real relationship. We're picking up on that.
Charles Gould and Matt Pavich are in studio. They're part of New York's funniest stand-up show. It's happening this Sunday, November 15th at 4 p.m. at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. Go to carolines.com for tickets. Charles Gould's doing the Tips for a Happier, Healthier You on Comedy Central Snapchat channel. Follow Comedy Central on Snapchat to view it, and on Twitter it's @MiddleKidGould. And Matt Pavich is on the season 2 of Joking Off, which premieres December 16th on MTV2. On Twitter it's @MattPavich.
And of everything in the New York Comedy Festival, I think this is the show to see because, what are you going to go see that Apatow is funny or Bill Burr is funny? But this, you're going to get 10 guys that you've probably never seen before and then be able to start following their career very quickly, which I think is a blast to do.
Thank you.
I don't know,
Cool, yeah, thanks.
To always catch people at that level, and then see them at TV and shit, it almost feels like you're smart. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
You're like, yes, there's Mateo Lane. I fucking told people.
People love that. Man.
Yeah,
It feels so good.
It's a really fun experience. That was like when you catch a band before they hit.
Absolutely. Then you have
told your
ownership
friend-
of it.
Yeah.
You're like, that's my guy.
Yeah, I'm a real fan.
Yeah, but then sometimes it goes the opposite. Sometimes people are like, oh, I knew him before, but when he was really good.
Yeah.
I knew him before he sold out.
Yeah.
Where he sold his soul.
Before he sold his soul.
Before he went on Undateable. No, No, Ron Funches, I'm just fucking with you, but still, it's hard to watch. You know, they're trying to throw everything at that show, too. Like, when it's totally live now.
Yeah.
You can tweet the people. They're periscoping during the commercial.
Yep.
The fucking show should be just called Please Watch. Please.
How many seasons has it been on?
This is the second, right?
It's the second season, but they're doing every episode live.
Wow.
Even down to the point where, like, they're putting, like, any of the graphics on chalk and shit, and there's the band playing the theme. I know.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts to
It
pull
sounds
that
like
off.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's going to die. Like, on
Right.
set. Like, stress overload.
But it's like this weird thing now of there's so many shows. How do you get people to watch any given show these days?
I don't know. Have it, like, be produced by Netflix.
It seems that way, right?
Yeah, just have a show that is a Netflix show, and everyone will watch it and love it, no matter what.
No matter what
Yeah.
happens, all because you get them all at the same time.
Or HBO. Anything on HBO also does very well.
Yeah.
HBO has won all the Emmys for like the last 12 fucking years or something.
Yeah. No, but HBO's the best.
Yeah.
Probably.
But you know what? I think ever since Louis too is like you can go to these other channels, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'd ever heard of FX before Louis. I don't know if, and then AMC with Breaking Bad.
Right.
That's when you can go. All right, do you watch a channel only for one show at a certain time?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what network Fargo's on.
It's FX. It's
Yeah,
on.
is it FX?
It's FX. Yeah.
But see, I just lock in Fargo and then I'm not watching anything before or after.
Fargo channel.
What's on Fargo right now?
It's on Fargo.
It's Fargo.
Also, Comedy Central still has a lot of really good shows, and I think people still watch Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Well, Comedy Central, it's kind of fucking amazing because they are the ones that'll take a real chance and be like, I don't know if this format fits anything or whether it should be on. Like the show that Hannibal Buress did, I wasn't even sure anyone even wrote it down. Yeah. You know, there's sketches, and then he's walking around in the street. He's sitting with a friend of his.
Have you seen Nathan For You at all?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's such a great show.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's one of the best shows on right now. It's phenomenal.
What's it about?
So the premise is that Nathan, what's it, Fielder, goes around to a business that's having like a struggling business.
All right, I haven't seen this. Yeah.
And then he comes up with ways that they can generate more business.
And I think he was doing that on the internet first, right? He was fucking around on the internet with that.
And then it got picked up as like a segment of a show, I believe. And
In
then
Canada.
Yeah. But man, this character that he does, I mean, he is the things that he gets. It's amazing what you can get other people to do just because you're on camera. And he's taking that to a whole unbelievable level.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, like you, because they were filming the New York's Funniest semifinals. Were they filming you for that? Yeah. And they would like when you were waiting to go on stage, you were like backstage for like 7 minutes and there's just a camera on you.
Yeah.
And like you do feel like you have to do something. I mean, like you're just standing there and there's like a camera in your face and you're like, oh, well, I better do something.
Yeah, this is my shot. I got 7 minutes.
So like I couldn't even imagine somebody who's like doesn't even want it and is like isn't prepared for it. Like
it's so good.
You're just gonna do the weirdest, dumbest shit because you have no idea.
And you sign the release because you want to be on TV so bad,
right?
And they're really playing with people's emotions, and it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Definitely worth checking out.
It was great meeting you guys. I'm so glad that you swung by here. Best of luck. This
Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Also.
Thanks for having us.
And stop by anytime. Chris, do the plugs before we get out of here.
Charles Gould and Matt Pavich have been in the studio. They're all part of the New York's Funniest Stand-Up Show. That's happening this Sunday, November 15th at 4 p.m. at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. Charles Gould's doing the Tips for a Happier, Healthier You show on Comedy Central's Snapchat channel. Follows Comedy Central on Snapchat to view it, and on Twitter it's at MiddleKidGould. And Matt Pavich is on the season 2 of Joking Off, which premieres December 16th on MTV2, and on Twitter it's at Matt Pavich.
Anything else we got to plug before we get out of here, Chris?
We're good.
All right, we'll see everybody again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!